Hello, everyone, to another episode of the OG Pumpkin Podcast. Hopefully, you're listening to the intro. I said that last podcast, but I failed to send Ryan the intro, which I will do soon. But today's guest is a very young man, motivated man, and when people tell me, like, "Hey, man, you do a lot," I kind of get it, yeah. But at the same time, because I know better, no, I don't do a lot. I just really fuck around. This man right here, this man has a lot of things going. He's everywhere. The future is bright for him. And without further ado, introduce yourself.
Dude, that was bitchin'. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah,
okay. My podcast is really kind of PG, but I slip up all the time. But that was an amazing intro. Thank you. It made me feel really warm and fuzzy. I especially like the part where you called me a young man. That was nice. But for those of you listening, my name is Cameron Fath. I'm a former 275 Ranger, current National Guardsman. I own my own streetwear brand called Kick God. I run another podcast with Israel Wright, former Green Beret, called the Pop Culture Field Manual Podcast. And it was funny when he did the introduction. I'm so used to Israel doing the hook line. So I was like sitting right at the intersection of pop culture, weapons, and firearms. And I was like, I expected you to do that because this is the first actual podcast I've been a guest on. So thank you for having me. I'm super honored. This is a great opportunity. So thank you again.
Yeah, dude, no problem, man. But you do more. So what else? You got the YouTube channel thing?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I always forget to mention that because I'm kind of an employee of that. So it's not my YouTube, but a video game media company called Gameology hired me and Israel White, the one I do the other podcast with, and we comment on different video game, first-person shooter, just military action games, and they're like, "What do you think about this?" And we can either say, "Yeah, this is fucking stupid," or we can be like, "Yeah, this is cool. I use that weapon overseas. Like I got just our initial thoughts on it," and it's and that has actually kind of really sparked an interest of mine in content creating and just being a bigger part of the veteran community, because the amount of opportunities that have derived from that have like been endless. And honestly, I feel like Ricky Bobby in Talladega Nights when I'm like, what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, man. It's like at the end of the day, I see myself as just like a normal fucking dude. But it's weird when like I go to drill and people want to take pictures with me because they see these YouTube videos, and I honestly forget. I think they're staring at me and they want to fucking fight or something. Like, what's your problem, man?
Dude, speaking of fucking, that happened to me. I thought somebody wanted to fight me, and I remember thinking like, yeah, I train and I've been fighting in the streets since I was a fucking teenager running around, in gangs and shit. But dude, the fighting does not, like, if I can not be violent, I don't have to. I mean, I don't want to. Especially when I'm fucking tired and on mushrooms, dude. So
yeah. So that's the least of your concerns right there. Like, I don't want to fucking fight, man.
A family market, a fucking farmer's market. I took my family, and I was like, you know what? We'll walk the dog around. You know what? I'm gonna take some mushrooms or chocolate mushrooms. So I took a mushroom, about a square. So it goes about a gram. So just about a gram. But it's a hit and miss because sometimes I eat these squares, and I'm like, I can kind of feel it, and then other times I'm like blasted.
Yeah. Like, who am I?
Yeah. So I go to the farmer's market. We buy some stuff, and let's walk around. And then I see a guy who he looks fit, right? His shirt isn't like super tight; it's a little baggy, but you can tell the dude's fit. Yeah. And he's walking with an older lady, if I remember correctly. And I'm pushing the stroller, and then I hear, "Hey, sir," or "Sir," but it was like loud. And then I look, and he's approaching me, and I put the brakes on the stroller. I take one big step away from the stroller. And I was like, well, he said, if I remember, I was like, I heard sir. So I think it is a friendly interaction.
It's like a security guard. This guy thinks you're shoplifting some avocados at the local farmer's market.
What is happening? And I'm like, man, and the bar just started kicking in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I am not in the mood at all, physically or mentally. And I'm fucking tired. We just did open mat. So I just rolled with a bunch of fucking dudes. And he's like, sticks his hand out. He's like, I like what you're doing online, man. He's like, keep it up. And I was just like, oh my God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Because instead of me being like, dude, I've trained for this moment my entire life, I was just like, oh, I got, please no.
Yeah,
Please.
no. Dude, you're never ready for it. That's the thing. It's like, so I know a lot of, combat mindset, right?
Yeah.
It's you're in the color system. At least that's how I learned it. And it's like thinking about just like your OODA loop, right? And the OODA loop, for the listeners that don't know what that acronym stands for, because the Army's just acronyms, everything. So it's orient, observe, decide, act, right? And it's basically what your brain is going through anytime something happens. So it's like I hear, a gunshot. Let's, for example, overseas, you hear a gunshot, you orient yourself to it, you observe what's actually happening, you decide, and you act. So it's just your decision-making process of how you mentally react to things. And that's why you do like drills to pretty much, how can I train my body and my mind to be more in sync and act quickly or more faster? Is that proper grammar? I don't care. I'm in college too. It's whatever.
Bro, I don't even know how to spell university. The other day, the other day I didn't have, for whatever reason, my fucking iPhone wasn't charged. I mean, it wasn't, there's like the autocorrect.
Yeah.
And I was just like somewhat typing university. And because someone's like, oh, what college do you go to? Or where are you going to school at? And I'm trying to put, and I was just like, uni. I asked my wife, how do you spell university? She's like,
yeah, man.
She's like, aren't you the one in school?
Yeah.
I was like,
dude.
But dude, I cut you off though, because besides the YouTube thing, you're also a little bit in Hollywood.
I guess so, man. It's like when I got out of the military.
No, not I guess so, bro. That was a Netflix movie, man. Netflix is big time.
It was Christopher Nolan, and it's like, so are we talking about Tenet?
Yeah, that's a Netflix movie, right?
No, it was Christopher Nolan, so it was actually just a big time movie. It actually had one of the highest budgets in like movie history, and I don't take any pretty much credit from it because I wasn't like I was on screen, but I wasn't like a big component of it.
Bro, I saw the scene and I was like, I know
it was a
that
big
guy.
Scene. Yeah. Oh, I know. I can tell you exactly where I am. I'm green spec number 6 right there. Just running out of the 47.
My children didn't give a fuck.
Oh,
I was
dude,
like, I know that guy.
I didn't. I haven't actually seen the movie.
Oh.
I just literally rewinded it to the end part where I know I am, because the movie's like 3 hours long and everybody says it's super hard to understand. And I'm just like, I don't got time for this, brother. But the movie was. That was a really cool. That was honestly the funnest I've had since I got out of the military, because the way they made it was the casting was, I would say, like 90% veterans. So their train of thought with the casting company is, we obviously have a war scene or some type of battle, and we would be wasting way more money to bring in just any yahoo off the street and train them in weapons manipulation and whatnot, and then have to bring them on camera and teach them how to do all these technical skills. So they actually expedited it by just hiring straight up veterans.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, it was great. I thought it was awesome, and like the money was awesome. I mean, they were paying us like $300 a day just baseline, and that's for 8 hours of work. But we would work 16 hours a day. So dudes were making, like, if you were in the union, the acting union, SAG, you were making like at some days like $1,600 a day. Oh,
nice.
Yeah, and we did it for 3 weeks straight.
Oh, nice.
So no, it was big money, and I was like, this is fantastic. Maybe I should be an actor, like everybody said I should have been in regiment. But that was like almost the holy grail of things that you shouldn't start off doing, because now your expectations are up here.
Yeah.
And then, it's going to be it. So all my expectations were like, I can do stuff like this. And then I did a couple gigs and I did a Netflix TV show as some extra work, and extras are nothing. Extras are just like, they bring you in, they're like, okay, stand here and look like you're doing something. And I'm like, okay, but just the people, man.
I'm always curious for that. Like, do you have an agent? How does that work for you?
So you can there's a lot of online sites that you upload profiles on, and they basically are ginormous casting agencies, and they put a bunch of classifieds out, and they'd be like, okay, looking for these types of people, and they have an entire registry to select from, and you just apply, and they're like, oh yeah, you fit the script, all right, be here at this time, and this is the day rate, blah, 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 blah. So that's how some people got that Tenet gig through through those agencies. But I got it because, do you know Brotherhood of the Squirrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So some dude posted on Brotherhood of the Squirrel this looking for, it was really vague. It was just like a Word document that like took like 6 seconds to make. And I was just like looking for LA veterans, pay unknown, possible movie. And my original team leader from regiment took a screenshot of it and sent it to me. He's like, you should do this. And I was
Yeah.
just like, well, yeah, I'm in school, but it's pretty much online right now. So yeah, why not? Fuck it, I'll do it. And yeah, it ended up being the coolest fucking thing ever.
Dude, that's dope, dude. But Brotherhood Squirrel is a Facebook invite only page for Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a hit and miss because sometimes
It is.
I look at that thing and I'm like, damn, dude.
These dudes are toxic,
These
man.
dudes are toxic. And then a lot of them you can tell are old. And
Yeah,
I'm like, damn,
the
dude.
majority.
The majority are the ones who keep posting a lot are old. But every now and then you get something really good.
Oh yeah, no,
And-
that's why I stay on it.
Yeah, and dude, I went to the what is it, War Dogs, that HBO documentary on
Yeah.
special operations dogs.
Wasn't it Channing Tatum?
Yeah, Channing Tatum was
Tatum.
yeah,
dude.
was fucking spot. I used to producer.
Yeah.
I went to that event. It was that red carpet event.
Oh, you went to? I saw them
Yeah,
post.
dressed like
pictures
this,
from-
like a fucking wannabe teenage skater.
like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, dude.
Dude, that's where I met. Oh well, that's where I met this guy.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Nice.
dude. So him and I, dude, we're in school, and I'm like, hey man, you want to go see this premiere for War Dogs? I saw it on the Brotherhood Squirrel. Somebody said like, hey, put in your information to get invited, to get your tickets.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't supposed to do that,
Yeah.
but I did it. And then I remember when I tried to tell other Rangers, they're like, I can't find it. And I'm like, I guess the post got taken off.
Yeah.
Well, it got taken off because they weren't supposed to do that. They weren't supposed to give us this link.
Yeah, some of those dudes do the homie hookup.
Yeah, so
big time.
we're in class. We go over there, and I'm driving, and he's like, dude, where is this? I'm like, Sunset. And I'm not from LA, so
Yeah.
we get there,
Big
dude,
time.
and everyone is dressed to the fucking nines.
Suits and ties, man.
Fucking Chanham's there. All the Chanham hoes are there.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're there because there's like 10 girls, dude, dressed to the nines. He's got a girl at the time.
Yeah.
And you can tell they're just waiting for their opportunity to get
For her to go away for
Yeah.
a second so they can just.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there was some regiment dudes there. I remember just saying like, thank you. Like, yo, dude, I didn't even tell them I was in. I was just, yo, thank you. Because like the way I see it, I'm out.
Yeah, man.
That story's over. But
Yeah.
these dudes are still in. So I shook their
they're still
hand.
doing it.
And we watched it. And dude, him and I, this guy and I are dressed like this. And we fucking stand out, dude. They for sure were like, you guys don't belong here.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't feel like we
But
belong
that's
here.
what brought you guys together, huh? You're like, so you from around here? No.
Yeah, nope.
I can tell by the jeans and the.
Well, that's how I met Dick.
Oh, really? Dick
Yeah,
was there?
because after the premiere, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna have food, drinks, in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
We should go." And at that point, this guy was like, "Nah, dude, let's get out of here." And I was like, "Nah, we should go all in. Let's just go.
Really?
Let's just go." And
Yeah,
as soon
might
as
as
the
well.
doors open, there's people like champagne, and I was just
Champagne?
like, "Oh fuck yes!" And then after a while, I was just laughing. I was like, "Dude, take a picture of me." And then you see everyone behind me dressed real nice.
Mhm.
And then I was like, man, we're gonna get kicked out soon, or something. And then I see from across the room, fucking Dick, and just Ranger hat.
Ranger hat, fanny pack
Yep,
on,
fanny pack
Brotherhood Scroll Factory T-shirt on, or I Love a Dick T-shirt.
Yep. And I was just like, yes, somebody I know.
Yes.
And that's how him and I became friends, man.
That's awesome, dude. I didn't know that story. That's the first time I've heard. Because I mean, we met, about a year ago?
Yeah.
I think so. I think it was your second vehicle range.
Yeah.
And Chris was the one who invited me to that. And he's like, hey, you should come meet Angel. And I remember when we went to Defense Threat, so I knew who you were.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch your RASP videos.
With my shades on
Yeah,
indoors.
dude. I was like, this guy. I was like,
Because I talked to somebody, I was like, hey, I'm trying to make a video because I keep finding myself in the DMs all the fucking time. My wife's like, hey, pay attention to us and play here at the park. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to give this information to this guy. And I kept answering the same questions. How do you prepare, for RASP?
in
How
that
do you,
boat, too.
nutrition? How do you get better at running? So I was like, I'm going to make videos. And I talked to this like IG girl, right, that she makes all these videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, how do you do it? She's like, you just put a phone right in front of you and, set it up. And she's like, she did it where she looked at the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, do I have to look at the camera? She's like, no, don't look at the camera. So when I set up my phone, I was looking off in the distance and then I would go. And then I was like, damn it, I got to record this again. I can't. And then I don't want to look at the camera.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to wear shades.
Yeah,
indoors.
dude. Solution. Dude, modern problems require modern solutions, man.
Dude, but yeah, man, I keep those videos up to laugh at myself.
No, they're good. I mean, you should keep them up anyways to see where you came from, dude.
Yeah.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But that's funny you mentioned that. That's like a whole getting out of your comfort zone type of thing.
Yeah.
Totally. Man, I remember the first time that I was ever like had to do like any screen work or just with Gameology, like the first episode of Gameology when
Yeah.
they're like, okay, we're doing hero shots, which are just in the beginning of the video. Like it does like an introduction and we like look at it and do like funny things or whatever. And I was just like, I'm so out of my element right now.
Dude, you look like a natural. I'm not gonna lie. Listen to you guys' podcast, seeing you at the thing, and just based off how what I know about you so far, dude. Your former teammates are right, man. If Hollywood would open their eyes, dude, you need to be in it, man.
I mean, I don't want to mention it now just because we're still in the contract phase, but we may possibly have a production company reaching out to Israel and I to start our own thing and create our own little YouTube bubble safe space there.
Dude, that's perfect.
So I think that'll be a real cool outlet for us to go out. It's just so hard. I mean, our biggest conflict is like, man, I mean, we have all these things, right? It's like pop culture field manual, and then I have Kick God, and then Israel has this like Twitch stream because he's a huge fucking nerd and he like video games and whatnot. But it's like, how do we, make a fine line of separation between like identity, right? Because I mean, what is OG Pumpkin's identity?
That's a good question,
if you
dude.
mind me asking.
Fuck.
Honestly, on the spot, man. On the spot.
What OG Pumpkin is me just being like, yo, dude, I think this is gonna help people in some way, whether it's low income communities, dudes who are about to get out of the military, dudes who are in the military, and at the same time try to like be funny and cool, but like because I don't think I'm a cool guy. I don't think I'm a funny guy. I just do things that I think are funny. And then if you think you're funny, if it's funny and cool, then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the main goal is just like to help.
Absolutely.
And I tried, and then it's a learning process. Because I remember one time I made a post, I was at school, and I was like, yo, man, you guys, veterans should really use their education benefits. You learn more about the world yourself with each semester that comes. And you get to learn and network, which will help you out. Dude, that shit got like 50 likes. But I put a cool guy picture and then mentioned the benefits of education. Thousands of people like it.
Draw them in, man.
And then so I was like, okay, I can't. OG Pumpkin Chance can't be like, yo, let's all hug each other.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so what do I got to do? And I tried to figure out like, people were like, what is your theme or what is your this? And I was like, I don't want anything. I just want to do me because that's natural. So like everything that you see on there, that's what I think. No one tells me. People think people tell me like, yo, who's your production team? Production team. It's me. I just, or one of my secrets is my kids. Yeah. I literally put a design and I show it to my kids, and then what do you think? And my son would be like, oh my god. So
that's
I don't
awesome, dude.
Even though I just spent $500 to $300 on the art, I'm like, nah, dude.
I've done that a couple times where I'm like, I want it to be so cool, and I spend all this money, and it doesn't. My girlfriend's like, basically your kids. I'll be like, is this cool? And she'll straight up tell me, no, that's fucking ugly, or that's I would never wear that. And she's got a sense of style, so I'm like, God, I want to love it so bad.
Dude, it was from this one design, and I might have made, I don't know, $30, and I was like, this is the most expensive art or I'll tell them like, yo, what do you think about this? And I'm like, I like it, but I'm not sure if, because I got to make money.
Yeah.
I tell my son, what do you think? He's like, oh yeah, print that.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, when I see his eyes, like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm like, yes. So I'll be like, so when they say production team, I'll be like, my 9-year-old. Yeah. That's my advice. That's my team.
Dude, your kids are bitching though, dude. When I met them the other day, your youngest, she like so friendly. Yeah. Probably the friendliest girl I've ever met in my life. She like reached out and she was just like, come in. Yeah. Which I'm like, oh my God, you don't know me. I'm a stranger. You probably shouldn't do that, but it's so cute. Yeah. She's just like, she was like, come in. And then I was like, okay. And she like reached out to like take my hand. So I just gave her my finger. Yeah. Because I was like, you have tiny hands, so I'll give you my finger. Yeah. And she took my finger and she just started, because she still does the baby talk thing. You can't understand a word she says. And she just started showing me the room. She goes to your living room. She's like, this is the thing. And I was like, whoa. And then she was like, okay, come on. And then she like took me to the room where your son was sleeping with all the Legos, and she's like, 7. And then I was like, oh, is this your room? And she's like, no. And I was just like, this kid is badass, man.
Yeah.
It's a cute kid. I'm
dude,
jealous.
she's gangster, dude,
Yeah,
for
she
sure.
is.
She gives me a tough time, man.
I'm sure.
My first and my second kid, that whole terrible two things, dude, it didn't happen. So I was like, this doesn't apply to me because I'm a good dad.
Yeah.
And then this one was born, and since she got out, she was like, oh, don't worry, guys. All the shit you should have done, don't worry. I'll make up for it. And it's fucking from the get-go, dude. I got home yesterday. She's like, you want to see Alina? Wait, her name's Alina, but we call her Chunchi. She's like, you want to see Chunchi's new art? And I'm thinking, like, oh, yeah, she probably colored on a piece of paper or something.
Yeah, scribbled around.
She's like, oh, no, turn around. Look at the living room. And she just fucking Picasso this shit with a crayon. And I was just like,
hey, man, you're not supposed to pick favorites, bro.
Yeah, dude.
That's rule number 1.
I showed it to her. I was like, who did this? And she just like, she looked at me, she looked at it, turned around, and went back to watching TV. And I was like, all right.
Damn, dude, that's gangster. That's awesome. Man, yeah, your kids are bitching, dude.
Dude, but yeah, so that's what OG Pumpkin is, man. People think there's a big team, nah, man, it's just me thinking what I think it's cool and funny, and then it'll help people.
Yeah, so it sounds like your identity's you.
Yeah.
Essentially, Angel Cortez.
Yeah.
I mean, you have angelcortez.com, right?
Ranger Cortez.
Ranger Cortez.
Dude, even how I thought, oh my God, like now I'll never change it because I laugh at it, but I was like, I was making the YouTube channel after making those videos, and then the IG girl was like, you got to make your own YouTube channel. I was like, I don't know how to do that. So then I had to Google, how do you create a YouTube channel? And then, dude, by the time, I'm terrible at editing. Like the amount of work I did on that video just to cut it because I kept fucking up, just to cut that, load it up, put it up on the YouTube channel. It took me like, I don't know, 8 hours.
Yeah.
And if somebody listening is probably like, dude, I can do that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm right there in the same boat with you. I tried making your last range. I made like this little video on like Adobe, and I was just like, I'd never touched Adobe, and I was just on you can learn anything on Google nowadays.
Yep.
I swear to God, just with a little time and patience and like trial and error, man. I like made this video, and I mean, it was like a 6-year-old, like these little Indian kids like in India can make these nowadays because they're just tech geniuses.
Yeah.
And like they could probably make it in like 30 minutes, but it took me 8 hours, and I was so proud of this thing because I was like, I did this, man. But it was so simple, but no, it was sick. Yeah. But yeah, dude, I understand what you're saying. It's a tough editing, like the whole videographer thing, just going into that whole realm. It's hard. Content creating is hard.
Dude, it is, and I learned that from the beginning. So when I'm trying to figure out the name, I was talking to Anna Leah, my wife, and I was like, what do I call this thing? Mm-hmm. And she's like, I don't know. I was like, how do I tell people I was a ranger and my name? And then I was like, and then I remember in like in RASP or Ranger School, when you're doing something fucked up and the RIs,
Hey Ranger.
Yeah, not just Hey Ranger, but like if they see your name tape, they're like, the way, it's that tone when they're like, Ranger Cortez. And you're like, fuck. I'm fucked. Yeah. So I said that in my head, that immediately that came in my head was when I just heard Ranger Cortez. And I was like, fuck, I'm fucked. So I was like, that's what I'm going to call it, Ranger Cortez. So it was a joke within myself because if you've been to those schools and you hear your name called in that tone, it's never because like, dude, you're fantastic.
Yeah, they don't want to tell you how great you're doing. You're like, I noticed you're doing an excellent job. I just wanted to give you some words of affirmation really quick.
Yeah, dude. So
that never happens.
So I call it Ranger Cortez.
It's good, man. Never change it. It's definitely goes into because that identity thing. That's what I struggle with right now. Just like because Kick God, as I tell, I've been a little slacking on it. But I mean, it's super fun, and like Kick God's not where I see myself making money at all. Because I mean, I don't make any money off Kick God. Every cent that Kick God makes, it's literally reinvested into it. Yeah. And so I got props to you, man, for figuring out OG Pumpkin, because I'm still working on Kick God, figuring out how I'm going to turn a profit. But it's almost not even like I said, a moneymaker to me. It's more just like a nice creative outlook or
but it will,
outlet.
Though.
Yeah,
it will, because you make good products. You make good products, and it's quality, and they stand out in the world. Dude, I buy these T-shirts still. So it's not. I'm not saying this in a complete negative way, but in a world where the veteran clothing apparel is somewhat similar.
It's growing. It's starting to plateau.
It's growing. Yeah. But yours stands out, dude, because you have style, and a lot of us don't have style, and you can only make the skull nods fucking design so many times. And dude, I still like those designs. But
I do too.
You can only make it so much where someone's like, dude, like.
I can buy this. I have like, I want a skull with nods on it, and I have like 17 brands to pick from.
Yeah, and
it's
then you
hard.
have yours, dude. Yours stands out. I like the shorts I bought from you so much that I only wear it when I'm like, nah, dude, people are gonna see this and it's gonna count, because I don't want them to fade. I don't want anything to be spilled. I don't want to just be in my house watching movies and I'm eating fucking Doritos with lime and tapatio. I don't want the tapatio to hit it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of shirts that I have that it's a little red spot. No, it's not blood from like MMA training. No, it's from fucking tapatio, dude.
Yeah, it's me with my little chunti fingers, like wiping on my white shirt. Yeah, my hot Cheeto fingers, man.
Dude, I like it, man. It will. I have faith in it, dude. It's gonna grow. And the reason why OG Pumpkin was profitable from the beginning is because for 3.5 years before that, I was giving nutrition and training and advice. So when I created something, I didn't know if I was even going to be successful, but it's because I was doing all that work. So I already had a following.
Yeah.
And then now I just had a product. So it took me, because people ask me like, yo, do you
How do you market yourself?
Yeah. How do you market yourself? And do you do any, what's it called when you give advice?
Like counseling, consulting.
Consulting. They're like, do you do consulting? I was like, for what? And they're like, for marketing and branding. And I was like, what? Like, dude, no, I'm not some fucking genius. Like, this is what happened. I just gave advice for 3.5 years with nothing in return. I didn't think like, you know what? 3 years from now, I'm going to make a company and it's going to be fucking dope.
Yeah.
No, I just did that. And then I created a product based off a design that my 5-year-old drew at the time. And then it sold out. And then when I typed this, their response was like, there's always like, wow. And I was like, yeah, man, it's not that complicated. At least not for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yours is all word of mouth. And I've heard you say that a million times. And every time you say it, it still surprises me, right? Because it's like, damn, word of mouth. I'm really lucky just because Gameology has started to kind of skyrocket a following for me. And it feels like it's happened overnight. Because, I mean, like just for my Instagram, which I'm terrible on Instagram as far as how I should be if I'm trying to run like a business and like be the content creator, which you look at all these forums and they're like, what's the recipe for social media success? And they're like posting 3 or 4 times a day, like constant communication.
I don't listen to any of that.
Oh fuck, I can't do that, man. Otherwise I would have no girlfriend, I'd have no social life. I would literally just be stuck behind a camera all fucking day. And like when it first started happening, because I had really a steady stream of growth, but it was still manageable, and I was able to like communicate with everybody, and just like you said, everybody's asked me, how do I graduate RASP? Or, do you got any advice for going into the military? And in my head, I want to be like, get off fucking Instagram, just do it and find out. Because I mean, when we went through,
there was nothing.
I was like, the amount of growth like the internet has taken as far as just like the resources that people have, like training programs and just like going on YouTube and seeing you talk about it. And like, I think your video, do you remember when you released that video?
Dude, it's Ranger Cortez and it's like I don't know, but when I did it, I was still in community college, I think. So 2017?
Yeah. So,
16?
Okay, then yeah. So that wasn't even available yet. And that's like one of the first like actual videos of people talking about RASP.
Dude, it's got thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah, it's great.
And at this point, because not everyone tells me, dude, 24 people have graduated and made it into special operations, mostly into regiment, because they're like, because dude, I talked to so many people, and this was the problem, is that you don't want to waste your time. So it's not that you maybe it's just some fucking fat dude who's just like, I'm gonna fuck with this dude all day.
Yeah.
So you just never know. So I just started making the videos to save myself that time.
Yeah.
Because like you said, then because if you're on there all the time, then you have no life.
Yeah.
Right.
That is your life. Essentially.
And now I'll look at IG messages and it'll be like some dude like, yo, and I'll tell them, look at this video, and if you have any more questions, hit me up. and then they'll be like, hey, I got a ranger contract. I'm like, all right, send me your contract and a picture of you doing something specifically that asking that you can only do at that moment. Usually something that I think is funny.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll send them money to buy boots because, dude, just like how you said, there was no advice. So nobody ever told me, dude, toughen up your feet.
Yeah.
You know, like you got to toughen up your feet because, you know, this or that, because you're running boots all the time.
When you're rucking, you know, and you're still running in boots everywhere. It's
all
not
the
like
time.
you chain into running shoes and everything.
And then it'll be a picture of them like months later, or like, yo, dude, I'm at first bat. And I'm like, oh shit, dude.
That's badass, yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, so when was that video?
3 years, it says.
3 years ago?
Yeah, so 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe 4, it doesn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, because going back to that, when I remember, I didn't even know what an option 40 contract was. I joined, I went in to the recruiting with my 2 friends at the time, and we went in and they're like, hey, what do you want to do? And we all said infantry. And they're like, are you sure? Like, there's a bunch of different jobs here. Infantry is kind of, you know, anybody can do it, which no, you can't. Not anybody can do infantry.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're like, we want infantry. They're like, you don't want to explore your options? Like, no. I literally have known since I was a young little boy and that I wanted to be a door kicker. And I was like, this is what I've been, you know. I started airsofting because my mom wouldn't let me play with firearms. And
really?
Yeah, no, I was huge into airsoft because obviously California gun laws. And then my parents, my dad is from Germany, you know, he's not a very barrel-chested, you know, freedom-fighting dude. He is a hairstylist and a musician. And then my mom, you know, grew up in East LA. Like, she knows her way around like a .22 pistol just to keep the fucking, you know, the cholos away.
Yeah.
And, but we never had guns in the house. You know, the first time I ever went shooting when I was a teenager, and we went to a firing range in Las Vegas for my birthday when we were there, and like I shot in 1911, and that was like the only exposure I had to an actual firearm. But no, I was so interested in the military that I started airsofting, and like the mechanics are pretty much the same. I mean, the way you load it, the way you shoulder it, you know, all the manipulation is pretty much the same, minus recoil. And I mean, dudes do dry fires at home all the time, which I mean, you're not shooting the gun inside, so you're doing the same exact thing. So I always had goals and aspirations to go in the infantry, and then, you know, I took my ASFAB, and I did very little prep for it, maybe like 2 weeks before, and I got a what is it, 111 or something. I think I got like a 110 or 111, which was one higher than what you required. And my recruiter was my homie at the time. He was infantry guy, and then giant motherfucker, just like shit brick house, just an ogre of a man. Yeah. Super cool guy. And then the one next to him was just a trend bologna beefcake as well. And he was at second ID as an infantry guy too. So I was really fortunate to have really good recruiters. And he's like, hey man, do you want an option 40 contract? And I was like, what is that? I don't even know what that is. And he's like, it's an airborne ranger contract. And I was like, I didn't know you can be a ranger. The only exposures I had to rangers were through Modern Warfare 2, you know, when you're playing all as like Private Ramirez. And I was like, I don't even know I just know they're special, you know. And I didn't know like that they were part of special operations or anything. I just wanted to be infantry. And so I took it, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into because I couldn't Google what is, you know. Yeah. I couldn't, you know, find the things, and I didn't know how to prepare myself. So like, I ran a little bit before I went to basic training and stuff, and I'm not a fast guy, and I can ruck like a motherfucker, but I didn't find that out till I got there. Yeah. And so I remember leaving for basic training, and like nobody knew they gather all the guys with option 40s, and nobody knew, you know, what to expect. And the only kind of hint of what I'm getting myself into is somehow there was the book Violence of Action in our like basic training bay, and there was one little part on like chapter 1 talked about RASP a little bit, and it was just like, it's really hard, the end. And I was like, okay, this is great. Oh yeah, dope. So I had no idea. So the entire time I was just flying blind and hope I didn't hit an iceberg or something, right? Yeah. And I ended up being successful. And you know, when people are asking me now, how do I pass RASP? I know for a fact these guys are just, you know, looking for an answer, and I would say like 90% of these dudes aren't gonna actually pursue it. And I spend all my time like coming up with this giant long message, and then I send it, and they're just like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm like, that's the last time I heard about him. I don't
Yeah.
know if these guys are actually enlisted or, you know, a lot of them are like 16, 17 years old and they still got, you know, high school to finish. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, man, you got to focus on the present right now. Stop focusing so much on the future, because if you fuck up what you're doing now, you're not going to have that opportunity.
You need that degree.
Exactly. So most of them I was just like, hey, man, just focus on what you're doing right now and then worry about it when you get to it. And I was like, it was cool. One thing I do like about going to school, because I hate school,
Yeah.
and it's just the books they force you to read. And we're reading one book called Culture Hacks in my international business class right now. And the first, like, 4 chapters have all been about, like, Japanese culture and just, like, the shinobi way and everything.
Yeah.
And it's low-key a fucking banger, dude. I love this book because I thought it was going to be, like, super stupid, and it's just going to be like, yeah, you know, the Asians, you know, bow, they don't shake hands, and, you know, they prefer sake before business meetings and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, no shit. But no, he's like, he goes into like Zen and like the different types of Zen and how, you know, the Japanese really practice a whole different mindset. Like American thinking is extremely linear and logical, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, but the way the Japanese do it is it's all intuitive thinking. So it's all based off intuition. So in America, we're like, if we see something that doesn't make logical sense, just like an example they use, which I thought was bitchin', is from Star Wars. You know, when they put like in, have you seen Star Wars? You're not a movie guy, dude. I know.
Yes, I have.
Okay, my girlfriend hasn't seen Star Wars, and she almost lost me because
terrible.
of it. Yeah, no.
The first 3, right? The original 3.
Yeah, 4,
Dude,
5, and 6.
I've watched all of them. I love watching Star Wars, Star Trek, and all that. But if you ask me, like, list all the character names and like when the year they were made, I'm not that guy.
No, that's Israel, man. That's my friend Israel. He can like name a director of like an independent movie that came out in the 80s, and he's like, he's fucking a dictionary for movies. But anyways, going off on a rabbit trail. But in that, when Obi-Wan puts like that blaster helmet on Luke, and he's like, now block the stuff, and he's like, I can't fucking see, man. And he's like, you gotta feel it. He's like, stop worrying about the future and worrying about just like feel it inside. And it's just like getting in touch with your intuitive thinking and like making decisions based off feeling instead of logic. That's how the Japanese do it. And a big part of the Zen is pretty much like just living in the now. Like instead of worrying about too much about the past or worrying about what's to come in the present, you lose focus of what's happening around you, and you lose essence of yourself in that manner. So it's just like kind of promoting really just now thinking and just being really calm within. And I'm like, hell yeah, Japanese, that's badass. Mahalo, friends. And so I thought that was super interesting. And that's the one benefit of college. You get to read books that kind of open your mind.
Man. That's why I tell dudes all the time, like, first of all, don't think that you have to go to school and there's only 3 options. No, there's many fields, and then you can even specialize within those fields of certain things, and you'll learn about yourself and the world. Because I remember thinking, like, okay, I'm going to learn some stuff in college. Probably, yeah. But after my second semester, I remember thinking, like, I am growing maybe even more now as a human being than I did in all my years in the military.
Oh, absolutely.
They both have, you know, you both have growth, especially when you dive into it and really experience it. And yeah, some of the stuff is some of the classes aren't that fun, but the peers and all that and your friends and some of the books, like you mentioned, I remember for what was it, my culture foods class. They're like, oh, you got to read this book from fucking the beginning of this, like the country, right, the era. And I remember thinking, like, fuck, I don't want to.
I hate reading.
I was like, I hate reading.
Yeah.
I'm like, especially, I'm like, you know, like in the early years, I was like, man, it doesn't sound interesting. And then I read it, and it was like, you know, how does something like that, the beginning of this country, relate to, well, not this country. Yes, this country, but like, what was it, like, the years where New York first started becoming New York, you know, so the growth of,
and like the industrial boom, really.
So, and then all these cultures that were coming in and bringing their foods, and that's how, you know, a lot of the people, whether they were from Germany, Italy, France, or whatever, they changed their last name a little bit so they can fit in, you know, and then they changed their clothes, but what they kept to keep their identity was their food.
Yeah.
And then just, it was very interesting on how they would grow and figure out how to maintain that. And I remember thinking, like, damn, dude, you had a negative mindset about this fucking book, And now look at you. You can't even put it down. You had to read one chapter. You're in chapter 2.
Yeah.
So you're ahead, and you look at you. You know, and that happened. That has happened to me so many times where I go in with this fucking poopy face, do a little bitch fit inside my head, and then at the end, I'm like, you know what? This was the best class.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. But, dude, so I met you because of Chris.
Yeah.
But dude, from the beginning, I was like, this dude's got good energy. That dude's he's doing a lot, and that's exactly what I want when dudes get out, is to, instead of being for many years by themselves, you know, like I talked to Dick. I had Dick and Eric on the podcast, and one of the biggest reasons why I started OG Pumpkin and doing what I was doing in SoCal is because Dick, when he got out, we're talking about, you know, trying to go to RASP and there's no information. Dude, when he got out, there was no communities, there was no organization.
Yeah, because he was in the early 2000s, right, or something that.
He got out, you know, I can't remember what year, but when he got out, there was no, you know, now you got out a bunch of what is it,
TAPS, right? It's TAPS.
What?
Or are you talking about just programs that educate you on your benefits when you get out kind of thing?
No, not just that, but I'm saying you got a bunch of active duty and veteran run companies that host little events.
Oh, okay.
You know,
there was mixers and stuff.
There was none of that shit, dude. He's like, dude, it was just Eric and I, and we would invite people, and it was through Facebook, and we would try to do events, and sometimes, you know, 3 people showed up, and Eric and I were one of the 3, and he was talking about just all the failure, not on his part, but him trying to create something, and because maybe the lack of communication or just the community as a whole wasn't there, just people weren't coming, and he was kind of losing faith. And then seeing him put the exact same energy towards the crowd that showed up, whether it was 40 people or 4 people, he had that same energy. Very happy dude. And I don't even know where this whole thing started and where I went with it. Oh, anyways, yeah. So to get out, so you get out, and so when I met you, I was like, dude, it's a younger dude. That's fucking dope. He's got the drive, and because I'm trying to build something. I got to change the wording. My Mike. You met Mike.
Yeah,
Mike's
awesome.
Mike O'Dowd, former SEAL, my boss. He hates it when I call him my boss. But the fact that he hates it when I call him my boss,
love of my life.
I want to call him my boss even more.
Yeah.
And
my supervisor.
Yeah, my supervisor. He's like, dude, you gotta fucking stop. Because I would used to introduce myself like, oh, I'm going to school to become a registered dietitian. He's like, bro, shut up about the registered dietitian. You're not just a registered dietitian guy, okay? You're not going to become a registered dietitian. You're an owner of a company. You have a business. You do huge events for the low-income and veteran community. Introduce yourself as that. And I was like, all right, you know what? You're right. So, and I would say, I'm trying to build. He's like, no, you're not trying to. You build a community. And it's because of, I would see Dick, and I fed off of that, and but you can play those words many different ways right now than what I just said.
Dude, you gotta change his name. You gotta go by Richard. I swear.
But
I play with Dick.
Yeah. Well, Dick and I we wrestle. It gets hot, sweaty, dude. You know, it gets on top of me, man.
Yeah, he forgets to get his haircut sometimes.
Yeah,
it gets real bushy,
dude. But so we're building something solid, and then that we can all count on, because I'm a true believer that we are the second wave, and the first wave, and they didn't all come out at the same time, but it's like Jocko, David Goggins, Tim Kennedy, Matt Best, JT, Andy Stumps. Like, they're all these successful veterans, and they're doing, you know, they're successful in what they like, right? And I believe the group that we're associating with is that next wave, because there's a lot of companies out there and they're making money, and which is great, good for them, but a lot of them aren't based off community. And you can only buy a T-shirt with a certain design for so long.
They're product oriented. They're service oriented.
Yeah, and what people need nowadays, social media will always be there. But what people need is community, especially after the last 2 years of this whole COVID thing and the lockdown. The last thing people want, I think, is a fucking cool guy shirt, you know, or just to like only a cool guy picture. They want community. And Benji's doing it with Thrash and Raid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we had that event where 400 people showed up. CJ from the Ramon played. You know, it was a fucking banger, dude.
Yeah.
And I remember him and I thinking like, dude, maybe 10 people are going to fucking show up. I don't know, but let's just do this.
Yeah.
And 400 people showed up.
That's awesome.
And we got this thing growing. So that's why I asked you, because you're such a motivated individual. Because I messed up when I first got out, and I used to try to help everybody, and I realized I can't
You
do
can't
that.
help everybody, man.
Because there was this one veteran at school. He looked like he needed some help, and I tried to help him. I'm like, dude, what do you need? And I remember I talked to him for like 40 minutes, and then I had to go to class. Or no, he had to go to class. So then he took off, and then a bunch of vets were like, dude, we've all tried with him, dude. He's been here for so many semesters. He's like, you're wasting your time. And then I realized that him and I were having the same conversation all the time. And then I was like, dude, I can't be wasting my time with people that don't.
They don't want it for themselves.
They don't. It's I don't know how to say it. Is it like, it's not that they don't want to be helped, or maybe, I don't know, but I can't be doing that. I have to help the people who are already on the right track. They just need some guidance or some help or some networking, you know. And so that's why I extended the invitation to the Defense Strategies event at the ranch. And there's what I think, and then what I feel, and that's why when I meet people, I'm always interested. Like, dude, what do you see the page as? Like, what do you get from that? And then you attending the DSG event and us having that network of veterans from who are in Ivy League or in law enforcement or in social media, and having us together. What was that like to you?
Oh man, I had a blast. And it's funny that you started mentioning about like nurturing a community, right? Because I got kind of a side question for you, and then I'll answer your main question. But going back to your like time where you were a part of like in the gangs. Why?
Dude,
right? Because
the gangs were for multiple reasons. You know, one, I didn't want to be fucked with.
Yeah.
I was a little kid, and then I became an age where I wasn't a little kid, and I remember we got fucked with, and I remember thinking, specifically, they were trying to take our skateboard and my friend's skateboard, and they took it away for like an hour, and then they finally returned it. But I remember thinking like, dude, I'm either gonna let these people fuck with me, not all the time. I will live my life, have fun, but when they want to punk me, they're gonna punk me, and then I just gotta take it, and then I live my life again, and then again, when they want to punk me, they're just gonna punk me, or I fight back, and I'm like, dude, I want to stand up for myself, and also I was in my household. I didn't have, my father occasionally was in, but he wasn't the best role model. You know, my mom at the time, she's different now, but she wasn't very nurturing, so I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. I was angry about my upbringing. I mean, I didn't understand that at the time. And then obviously you got fucking puberty where you got testosterone growing, going and pumping. You want to fucking prove yourself. And when you're born and raised in those areas, other stuff is just it's Disney, dude. It's just something you see on TV. It's not your reality. It will never be your reality. So this is what you have in front of you. Yeah.
So was it also you were basically seeking relationship, right?
Yeah.
Positive relationship with people.
Community.
No matter, you were looking for community. And I mean, I see that with different types of groups out there. And like, I mean, an extreme example is like looking at these Antifa nerds, right? Like they're all outcasts from society based off what we see, right? And they're all extremist thinking, like they think completely different, but they manage to find themselves in a group of common thinkers and other outcasts, so that draws them together. Even they're looking for relationships with other people. So, you know, I'm extremely people oriented. I'm always looking to make new relationships, you know, surround myself with positive individuals. I mean, just like you said, even if you encounter a negative individual, just leaving some sort of, you know, guidance with them, they can take it or leave it, right? But I mean, just knowing that you attempted to help is something that I really value. But the event itself at the ranch, I knew it was going to be a blast just because, you know, I'm a big gun guy and I like being in nature. So I was like, regardless of what happens, it's gonna be a great time. But the secondary, or my secondary out, or at least outcome that I wanted, became my primary by the end of it, and that was just meeting a rad bunch of dudes, right? And we all exchanged numbers, and they all ended up being awesome guys. There was not one person I thought that was there that I was like, I wouldn't like to see them again, or I wouldn't like to do another thing with them just because. No, they were all solid. So I mean, not only was it a networking opportunity, which everywhere you go should be a networking opportunity. I mean, especially if you're have a solid head on your shoulders and you understand how to communicate with individuals and different individuals, like-minded individuals. You can get something positive out of anything.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, the most valuable skill a person can have is people skills.
Yep.
Understanding how to talk to people, understanding how to communicate effectively, because in communication there's a speaker and a listener, and and it goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can understand how to effectively create a message and have the person on the other end understand it and be able to. I'm kind of rambling here and trying to sound intelligent.
No.
Yeah.
No, you're right. You're
absolutely.
Right, dude,
but
you're 100% right because, dude. So, to become a registered dietitian, you have to speak with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to. So in my class, some of my peers are A students. They kill it.
Yeah.
But I look at them and I'm like, you don't like to communicate with people. You're kind of just.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're so smart that you don't want to work with others because you're like, I can get a better grade by myself.
Yeah.
And you're just focused on getting A's, and you're trying to enter a profession where you have to speak with people. Your social skills aren't that great.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time, and this is probably their first attempt into a career, right? And they're gonna learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
When I entered the military, I didn't have the people skills that I have now. I wish I would have. But no, yes, you're right. Because in my communication classes, because it's such a part, communication and speaking with people is such a big thing in that profession. We have those courses. So in psychology courses, because nutrition is not just what you eat. You got this stomach and then you got this stomach.
Yeah.
For the people who are only listening, you have the stomach, and then you have the stomach in your head.
You gotta feed it, man.
Yeah. So when I actually went through that and I took that back home and I was like, oh, I gotta listen to my wife, and I just be like, oh yeah. Actually, I need her to feel like she's actually being listened to, and then she'll feel better about the communication and overall relationship and mood.
Yeah.
But yes, no, dude, you're not just rambling. You're right about that. And to some people that might be like, no, duh, but to me, I didn't know that. I didn't know that fucking growing up, and as you can tell, some people in college don't even fucking know that.
Oh yeah, man. I think it's extremely. One thing that I've taken from my studies, and this isn't me harboring, you should go to college, but you definitely should experience it and reach out and just try to expose yourself to different things, right? Stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
Is something I always encourage people, no matter what. If it's school, if it's trying a new field, trying a new skill, a new hobby, go do it. But essentially, one thing that I've gotten from my studies is that, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. This is happening.
Dude, it happens all the time.
What was the last thing you said?
It's the TBI, bro. It's the
man. I did
explosions.
that the other day in class, and I was like, yeah. And it's funny because the thing that I said right before I blanked out made it sound like I didn't do any of the homework. Because I was like, yeah, and I was like, my favorite thing from this video was, oh my God, I completely blanked out. And they're like, you know what? It's okay.
It's okay.
What
Dude,
was the last thing you said? Sorry.
well, that you're not rambling, and that I learned all this in the communication classes, psychology classes, because if you don't have these people skills, you're gonna have a tough time.
Yeah.
And then I said, what you're saying is correct.
Mm-hmm.
But the main goal of this is that you were like, oh, I don't want to just harp on education. Like, you got to go get your education. There is multiple reasons why you should go to school. And let's say the examples that we're giving doesn't hit some of those knuckle draggers.
Yeah.
Guess what, gentlemen? You will in college. You're pretty much outnumbered by females.
Yeah, you are. It's like
Yeah,
what
and
is it, 54% of females in school, and it's like men are 46.
Yeah, you're gonna stand out, and if
Yeah.
you're still in shape, you're gonna look like a stud. And then if you hit the books, you're gonna look like a smart stud, which then will relate
It's a
to
double win.
yeah, which will relate to you having a lot of good college experiences.
And if you come from the military and you're covered in tattoos, you look like
yeah.
a fucking monster, dude.
Bro, you're gonna be swimming in it, man.
Yeah.
I mean pussy.
Yeah, pussy.
Yeah, not the other way when we thought we were gonna be swimming in it when we entered the military.
Oh yeah, no, dude.
Dude,
you get male attention.
I
That's what
remember-
you get.
I remember thinking like, dude, when I joined the military, and this is me, my 18-year-old mind, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get so much pussy. I'm gonna be fucking swimming in it because bitches love a guy in a uniform.
Yeah.
And I was so wrong. I had never been
That's
so
furthest
wrong
from
in
the
my
truth. That
entire
is the
life.
furthest thing from the truth.
I'd
man.
never seen and been around close proximities to so much cock and balls in my entire
I'm a
life.
dick expert by now, not Richard. I'm
dude,
literally seeing
I
it
went
all.
for, dude, this is my first day in taking a shower in the bay. I was the guy who wore his boxers.
Oh, you're that guy.
Dude, because I was like, I had never, like, some guys grow up playing sports and they're already in high school. They're used to the bay shower thing. Well, when I played football, my house was right across the street, so I just went home. I never did the bay shower thing.
Yeah.
So I was never used to, that. And then in my house, like, you always change in the room, and then you used to change in the bathroom before you got out. So like this whole nakedness or half nakedness was like never a thing. So now
Very
when you're in the
nice.
bay and you got to take a shower with like 100 naked dudes, you're like
And you're standing really close.
really close. I was like, I'm gonna wear, and then I saw two dudes wear it. So I was like, I didn't know what the rules were. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wear my boxers. I saw two dudes going in there with their boxers. I'm gonna wear my boxers too. And then, some time, because you're around so much cock and balls, dude, there'd be times where I'd be in NTC having a conversation with someone I haven't seen in a long time, and then I'm like, you know what? We've been talking for like 45 minutes. We should probably get out of here. Dude,
Yeah,
that's
man.
that's how much cock
I
and balls are
scrub
around.
your bag, you
Yeah.
scrub mine.
Yeah, dude. And it might be the gayest. The military might be the gayest thing I've ever done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. You're.
One of the jokes that I loved at the ranch we were talking about is like higher you get in the tier system of the military.
Yeah.
It gets progressively gayer and gayer.
Oh,
So, like,
100%.
yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, dude.
I had a buddy, when you're in regiment and it's your birthday and they like just fuck you up,
Yeah.
like totally just beat the shit out of you and pour beer down your throat and tie you to a litter and just literally like beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And it was one of my buddy's birthdays, and his squad mate literally put his wiener in his mouth to make him uncomfortable. He bit his dick. I've never heard a man scream
Yeah.
the way that this man screamed before.
Dude,
and I
it's-
would have screamed, like, I got a really high voice, so I would have been like screeching.
It gets gay, dude. There'd be dudes who put their cock over their wrist and be like, yo.
What time is it?
And yeah, dude, but you're laying down, dude. You're laying down, right? Like, let's say you're reading a book, or you're just like on your iPhone or whatever, watching your iPod, because iPod back then.
iPod.
And watching a movie,
iPod,
and they'll be like, yo, what time is it? So his cock is like right here, dude, and you're just like, oh.
Oh man.
And yeah, dude, you can't work at Best Buy and
No,
go
you
up
can't
to.
do that.
You can't do that, dude.
Yeah, it's part of the camaraderie, man.
Yeah, you can't even do that now. And like,
Yeah. That's a big reason why dudes feel alone when they get out. It's because they're so gay.
Yeah.
And they can't actually be gay because they're
Yep.
not.
now
But
then now you gotta be straight, dude.
and now you got to be straight again, and it's not fair. Dude, I get a lot of people that are like, Cameron, are you gay? Because obviously, like,
Yeah.
I've been bullied my entire life. Because
Well, you've always been like this. You take care of yourself.
I've always been like this. What is that supposed? What's that
As in-
supposed
as
to
in
be,
you,
man?
you take care of yourself, dude.
Yeah, I
young
consider
fella.
myself Metro, man.
Yeah.
And then, like, I've always had pretty good style. Like, actually, one thing that people don't know about me is before the military, I was a professional hip-hop dancer. Yeah,
Bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I get down, man.
shit.
Yeah, like,
Dude, play fucking Run DMC. It's
yeah,
tricky.
dude, it was funny. I was in the armory the other day for a drill, and I started out breakdancing. That was
Yeah.
like when I was maybe 11 really young. I think I started in either end of elementary school, beginning of middle school, and like my mom wanted me and my sister to do something in common because at the time we were just at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah.
So she's like, "We'll put them in something collectively so that they can, become friends." So my mom put my sister in hip hop, and she put me in breakdancing. So I started breakdancing, and I actually got really good. And we both like tried out for this hip hop team at a really well known studio in LA, and we both made it. And like the team was on like So You Think You Can Dance and America's Got Talent and everything. Nice. And we were like first place ranked national champions for a while. And so it was, a lot of people don't know that, and they found that out in RASP.
Oh yeah.
And like the cadre would always just make me dance in front of the class. And
yes.
Yeah, dude, it was when I got, they were like, "You're gonna be a riot on the line." And I remember, I was a fucking idiot. And when I showed up to 275, I went to BCO, and they were deployed to Afghanistan at the time, and I just missed the deployment by like 2 weeks, and the guy on Rear D that was in charge of us, he was like giving us, basically doing the draft. And he was like asking us, he's like, "What'd you do in high school?" To one guy, he's like, "Oh, I just played video games." He's like, "All right, start fucking pushing. We don't want you."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What'd you do?" And I was like, I was a professional hip hop dancer." And he goes, "Oh shit." And then that's the last thing. When my platoon got home, so I was the new guy twice. So I was the new guy when I got there, and then my platoon got home, and then I was the new guy again.
Yep.
So I remember it was Saturday when they came home, and all of a sudden, it was like Saturday, like 12 o'clock, and I get like a call, and they're like, "Be at the cuff right fucking now."
Oh shit.
And I was like, they're like, "The platoon wants to meet you." So I like sprint over there, and they end up like, I had like one tattoo at the time, so they like strip me down to my undies to see. They're like, "You got more tattoos? Let's see them." And they like take my pants, and the kids and the wives are all there like watching, and I'm just like, "What the fuck?" And they're like, "Heard you're professional dancer." And I'm like, "Rogers, and they're like, "Dance." So I had to dance like in my underwear. In front of everybody, and the moms and the wives and the kids. And
to what song?
No song.
Oh my god.
What song was up here?
I have no idea. I don't remember, man. Probably something around like Tyga. I was a big Tyga fan growing up for some reason. He was just Rack City, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing I didn't think they didn't think I was good. But I was fucking good. I hit him with like a backflip and like fucking everything, and they were like silent afterwards.
Bro, at the next OG Pumpkin Range event, you gotta fucking bust out a cardboard and do some moves.
Okay, I'll try, man. It was funny going back. I was like at drill, and like it's a big concrete thing, and like I was fucking around with all the guys, and I was like, I wonder if I can still do like a coin drop. So I like did a coin drop, and I was like, like spinning on my back, and I was like, whoa. And I was like, can I do windmills? Because I never was able to do that shit. And I think it's because like now I have strength and whatnot. And all of a sudden, like I was able to do like flares and fucking windmills on the ground and everything. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm way better than I was ever.
Shit.
And I haven't danced in so long. I'll get down at the club.
Wait, so then what happened at the cough after that?
Oh, after they
was that your in?
That was an in. That was big time in.
That's a great.
That was
in.
a win, yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think it gave me some props. But yeah, that always. And for that, I'm going back, like I was always bullied because like I did feminine things. Like I was a hip hop dancer, but you don't realize when you're a dancer and you're a straight man, you were surrounded by just women and smoke shit. Yeah,
Dude,
surrounded.
All the shit that some dudes are like, yo, man, that shit's gay. You're like, dude, like I tell people like, yo, man, you gotta do yoga. Someone's like, that's yoga? What are you fucking fat kid? Like, dude,
dude, people need to drop.
I'm like, homie. I'm like the only dude in this yoga class, or this yoga, like, dude, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Dude, if you got moves, if you're the guy with the moves on the dance floor, you're a magnet.
Yep.
You're a magnet. And like that was always, something I'm glad I always have, in my back pocket.
Yeah.
Cause dude, I still can get down. Like me and my girl went to the club the other like a month ago, and like it was a good. I forgot because I haven't moved like that in a while because of COVID. But yeah, dude, I was getting down. Like all the brothers and sisters were like, hell yeah, white boy.
Yeah. Hey, dude, you're white?
No, I don't know what I am, man. I don't fucking. When people are like, what are you? And I just say, I don't know.
Because you look.
I'm Spanish.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm Spanish and Jewish.
Okay.
So I'm like hardcore Jew, apparently. Like, I always say I'm Ashkenazi Jew, because that's what Albert Einstein was. But I guess I was, because I did, like, those Ancestry.com things, which I don't even know if they're real,
Yeah.
Like, how do they
I don't know.
Data
Dude,
collection.
yeah, it's
I don't know,
there's no
dude.
way because I
I tell you what, I'm gonna do mine, and if mine says
it's gonna come back with like gordita or like
Dude,
churro. Or
if it says
something.
it's point zero 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 one African American, dude, I'm saying nigga.
Oh, but you
Bro.
just dude.
Yeah, you can say it.
I'm not gonna say it
Why not?
because
No, I'm saying if you're because if you're black.
I thought you meant like right now.
No,
say it
not
right
now. Bro, it's in because
It's just about in everyone's DNA.
because if it's an A, this is what I understand, man.
You got to tell me about the Mexican African American debate, saying like the Mexicans are allowed to say it.
Well, see, like, dude, because in the East Coast, those Hispanic dudes, when I met at Basic, were saying nigga like they're black people, and I'm like,
Puerto Rican?
yeah, dudes, yeah, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, and
Well,
even
Dominicans
some
are basically black.
yeah, but even some Mexicans, and they're like, dude, and they're like, I'm from New York, and they're like, bro, you talk like that here on the West Coast. Mexicans don't say it like that, you know.
foo.
They say foo, bro, homie, son,
Yeah.
but the East Coast Hispanics say it, and the black dudes give them the free card.
You got the card?
Yeah, but if you say it here, they're like,
it's
you
fighting.
can't. It's
It's fight
fighting,
words.
dude. So it's complicated. There's a meme video that I post up occasionally. It's some drunk Mexican guy, and he's like saying, "Yeah, man, the white boys, the browns, my niggas," and then some black guys walking by. He's like, "What'd you say?" He's like, "Nigga." He's like, "Bro, I'm brown. I can say my nigga." And then it's a second, and you're like, "Yo, dude, they're about to fight." And he's like, and he gives some props, and he's like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, yeah, see, I can say it. So I was like, can you say it? Can you not say it? I'm like, yo, man, it's like when I'm singing a song,
Yeah,
my
if you're in
car.
the car by myself with the windows rolled up.
yeah,
Drunk to the music.
dude, yeah, man, because it's okay. It's in the name of a worldwide known group, right? Niggas
Yeah.
with attitude. It's in all the fucking hip hop songs. So if I say it, you know, am I in trouble?
I don't know. I
think-
know if I say it, I'm in trouble.
That's how you say it.
Yeah,
Correct. I think
how
it's
you
it's how you say it. Because if I go to
like
a
in context.
yeah, because dude, there's a DJ Quick.
Yeah, I saw DJ Quick before.
Well, dude, he's gonna be up soon. I'm trying to get tickets. Hopefully, I can make it. And if I'm in the crowd singing, you know, someone
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
fine.
looking at me and be like, "Yo, dude, wait, did he say that?"
Yeah, I think in music, that's a hit or miss for me, man. I will
Yeah.
always be uncomfortable saying it just because I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. You know?
But you have to
And because I don't like the word in general. I just don't think the word is fucking.
Yeah, I've talked to some like, you know, some occasionally you talk and I'm like, yo, man, what do you think about, you know, nigga? Can you people say it? And he's like, I don't like it. It's in rap music. I don't listen to it.
Yeah, I think it's a dirty word, man.
Yeah,
it's like it's just it doesn't make sense to me as to why it's still around as it has such a negative connotation.
It's because they I don't know who, but people, they took control of the word because
Yeah.
it used to be completely bad, and then
Yeah.
it's one of those words that they took the meaning and they made it into a positive thing because
Mm-hmm.
not a positive thing as in, I guess a positive thing because
It's like saying, I mean, technically, fuck can mean anything now.
Yeah.
Like you can call, like in Philadelphia, like a John. You know, hey, pass me that John. A John is a word. It's a noun. It's a person, place, or thing. It's a John. So like, just like fuck, you say that's fucking, or be like shit. Like, pass me that shit over there, or be like you're the shit, or be like that was shit. That's good. That's bad.
but that word though, it's different because it's one of those words that was used to minimize people, and then they took it. I don't know if any other word that's popular. Like there is no band that says Beaners with attitude, or there's no songs where every other hook within the chorus it's like Beaner. Like it doesn't
that
work
ain't
that
catchy,
way.
man. That
It-
word doesn't roll off the tongue.
It ain't
nicely.
it ain't catchy, man. So they
Yeah.
took control of that word. And then just like words all the time, the meaning changes. Like for a while in the 90s, remember the bomb was fucking
bomb.
it wasn't an explosive. It was like, yo, man,
That's something good.
That shit's the bomb.
And then you said that shit's the bomb on an airplane, and everybody loses their
yeah.
fucking mind.
So, you know, the meaning of words change all the time, you know, or like I'm not sure do people still say I think cool has always stayed cool.
cool, yeah.
You know,
Cool's
but
always-
like remember when people for a while would be like, yo, that shit's tight.
that's just tight. That shit's dope.
Can people say? The young kids say that still?
I still
It's tight.
I
but
think
still
on fleek.
on what?
On Fleek?
Fleek. I
Fleek?
think that one was short-lived.
That was short-lived?
Yeah.
Okay. That shit was typed. That shit was dope. That shit was on Fleek. There's some words now that are out that I just never heard of.
Like
I
what?
used to be fluent in Ebonics. Fluent in my dancing days. Just because I was surrounded by,
Yeah.
I was exposed to hip-hop culture. And, like, I used to know all these words, like, but now I'm like, now I feel like I wear suspenders and I feel like a white boy.
I guess bet is one of them.
Yeah, bet.
Bet.
And then finna.
Bet?
Yeah. Like,
That one confused me for a while because
bet.
somebody asked me like, "Yo, man, are you dropping this design?"
Bet.
And I was like, "Oh yeah, soon." They're like, "Bet," and I was like,
How
bet,
much?
bet me, like I'm not gonna do it, or you bet me like is it like a double dare?
I think it's like better.
or best. I don't know.
It'd be like,
Best believe.
hey, you gonna do that? Bet. Or best believe. Or you like, bet. No, I don't know. It's not better. It doesn't fit in there,
Bro,
man.
that's
yeah,
how
like
I- that's
finna.
how
When
I
I
know.
heard finna,
Yeah.
that threw me off. Because finna replaces about to. Yeah, so be like, I'm finna go to the store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finna do this.
I text that one out from time
Do you?
to time.
Me
Yeah.
too. When I want to get.
Dude, I text things all the time that I don't talk like that, but I think it's hilarious. So like, dude, it'll be in a professional setting. Mike is trying to be serious about work, and then he's like, "Can you make these dates for DSG?" And I'm like, "Faux shizzle."
Faux
I don't
shit.
talk like that, but I just think it's funny.
I do that too.
Or to fuck with him, if he posts some funny, I'll give him the Spanish laugh. The,
Ja, 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 ja,
Ja,
ja.
ja, ja, ja.
I always think it's because I'm so white. I'm like, ja, 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 ja.
Dude, people think like dude, I understand some Spanish,
Yeah.
as in like reading and writing.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, I never asked
But
you,
I
do you
don't-
speak Spanish?
I do speak Spanish,
yeah.
but I can't read and write it like
Okay.
fluently. So when I respond, even in Instagram, I'll be like, that, ja, 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 and I think it's funny.
It is funny.
It's not because I'm hardcore more
Yeah.
Mexican
Uh-huh.
than English. If anything, a lot of people don't know. Dude, I'm more Americanized than anything.
Uh-huh.
Like I'm the white boy in the crowd when I go to family events. Because I just gravitated towards that. I was born and raised here, the first one in my family, but growing up, all I ever heard was Spanish music, Spanish fucking soap operas. Which, by the way, if you like Hispanic chicks and you've never seen a Spanish soap opera, you fucking better get on it, cause
Or just watch the news,
or
the weather.
or the news, or the weather girls.
Yeah.
But I would just see American culture and just be so gravitated to it, man. Like, you ever seen the movie Malibu's Most Wanted?
Of course.
Remember that dude's like, he's
King
like,
Kong.
no. Well, when he was a kid, he's like super white, and then
Yeah.
the cleaning lady left her tape cassette, and then he
Mm-hmm.
put it on, and I think it was Run DMC.
Run DMC.
And then he was just like, it opened his world. He's like, oh, dude, that's how I was, man. When I first heard and saw American, music and the culture, as in like hip hop, like Tupac and stuff like that. And then you're watching like Superman, Batman. I was just like, oh shit, like what is that? I'm interested in that because, dude, it was just Mexican soap opera, Mexican radio in my house all the time. But anyways, dude, I gotta take a piss. We're gonna keep this going.
Yeah, I got to pee too.
You gotta pee?
Yeah.
Dude,
you go
pee.
first.
Okay, I'll go pee.
After
Dude,
you.
tell him the story about eating fucking balls.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Dude.
guys ain't-
Tell him.
you don't know?
I've only seen the video.
Oh, you've only seen the videos?
Yeah.
Okay. So it starts like this. So when we were at the ranch, we decided to do a shooting competition. And pretty much, there always has to be stakes, right? Well, I thought it was just going to be like a friendly shooting competition, like whatever. There was a bunch of steel targets out there. Like they had the 5-star and they had like the plate run and they got a bunch of targets set at different depths and whatnot. And so we're like picking teams, and it was like dodgeball, right? So like we had 2 team captains, and they started picking dudes. And every team looks pretty good, except for Mike's team, who was just stacked with all the SEALs. And I was just like, this is going to be terrible. Because our team has like me, Angel, and then we had like 2 guys that this is like their first time shooting.
So was it rifle or pistol?
It was a mixture of both.
Okay.
And some of the rifles were like California rifles. So like a lot of us didn't know how to like work them and whatnot because we're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But anyway, so like we picked our teams, and Mike's like, okay, well, there has to be stakes. You know, what's the loser do? He's like, we're not going to do this without like reward, high risk, high reward, you know? So they're like, what's the loser get? And everyone's kind of just silent. And I was like, what if we eat the bull testicles that we castrate tomorrow? And everyone's like, oh, does anybody have any other ideas? And nobody came up with anything. So it just kind of rolled that way. And yeah, so we, everyone knew. I was like, okay, this is on the line. And it kind of made me feel a little like ill thinking about it because you're just like, you're eating ball nuts and you don't know what they. Yeah, I've never even seen them. They were like fresh out. It'd be equal to, you know, if you catch a mahi mahi and just right there gutted it and ate sushi. Oh. So, long story short, we got fucking slaughtered in the shooting course. But I have to say, I won my round. Okay, right, Angel? I won my round.
In shooting?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Because what was your event?
Mine was the 5-star.
Oh
the
yeah,
spinny thing.
Dude, fucking killed it, dude.
Yeah,
Killed
I beat his uncle.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. He
The one with the stash.
yeah, fucking
Beautiful stash.
yeah, dude. He fucking killed it. But dude, what did you think about the bald thing after it was all said and done and you were home and you're like, dude?
Did you feel gay?
I didn't. I was like,
Did
you know,
you process it?
I did process it and I was like, dude, I couldn't help it. I could not help but think. I was like, so this is what chicks feel like when they put a ball in their mouth.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yep.
dude.
Was it like a chunk? Or was
They
it
were
like,
way
Fucking-
bigger.
yeah,
they were
dude.
way bigger than I thought. I thought because I was
take like a bite out of it, like an apple?
no, you had to
Homie.
it was like literally. You ever have jalapeno poppers?
Yeah, yeah,
They're like
yeah.
this big.
Yeah, yeah.
They're about that size.
Put it this way, bro. You knew there was something in your mouth.
Yeah, it was yeah. So the rancher would you know, the bet was only one of them, so you didn't have to eat two. I totally didn't account for 2 testicles in the sack. So, but we all ate one. And yeah, they were, you know, those stones, those magnet stones that you can get at like gift shops, and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
like black and they
Yeah.
stick together, and they're about that big. That's pretty much the size of like the average one.
Yeah.
So, and the way I describe them is they were really pale, and then you ever seen the movie like Alien?
Yeah.
Where the heads kind of have like that like veiny stuff on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it was that inside, but the veins were all purple. So it was like a pale little sack with
Yep.
purple veins all over it. And like they were covered in like blood and everything. But yeah, you popped it in and the consistency was really close to just like a rubber ball.
I
And
tried to
then-
chew it, dude. It was not.
Yeah.
Fucking
Mike was
happening.
chewing that thing for 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so like once you bit it really hard, then it became mushy. So like this mush would like squirt out of it. And that was my biggest fear because I'm a big consistency guy.
Yeah.
Like something can taste delicious. Like this is why I didn't eat bananas for the longest time. Because like bananas are super mushy and it almost reminds me of vomit in my mouth.
Okay.
And but the taste was fine. It's just the consistency weirded me out. Same thing. I can't eat oatmeal.
Interesting.
It's really weird.
What about like grape tomatoes? I can't do tomatoes from time to
Really?
time.
Yeah, it's just like that. Really tough on the outside, but then you break in and it's just mush. Yeah, it was like that. And but no taste. They didn't have any taste to them.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was. I think the idea of the balls in your mouth was more fucked up than the actual taste.
Really?
Then again, I did drench it with Tapatio.
I did, yeah. The last one I ate was I kind of took it easy on the tapatio because yeah, I remember I had to eat 2.
Yeah.
Because the first one I ate, I forgot to document it because I'm like, no one's gonna believe this shit. So
You have to document.
yeah, so I had
Dude.
I ended up eating a second one, which was way bigger than the first one because that was the one the rancher gave me.
Dude, oh my god! And everybody at the end ate it because who on the opposite team was the first one to be like, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
Mike. I think Mike, because Mike was Mike was the mediator, so he did it regardless. And I
Yeah.
think it was one of those, you know, we're surrounded by a bunch of vets. If they do it, they're gonna make us look like a bunch of bitches.
So I gotta do it.
So
too.
I gotta do it too, because I'm a man, and that's what men do. But no, I felt really, actually, I felt empowered after I ate it.
Dude, well after thinking like, yo, man, I think it's probably what women feel like when they got a ball in their mouth. After that, I was like, dude, I think the power of the testosterone and that balls or whatever is going to be in me to be so much stronger.
Oh yeah, I expected to wake up the next morning with like my traps up to my ears and just walk around.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, but it was I felt like Bear Grylls afterwards, man. I was like, this is fucking badass. I felt cool afterwards. Not a lot of people can say, yeah, I ate a fucking testicle and I feel cool. And it's, well, I mean, unless you're like living out in West Hollywood. But, but no, dude, it was cool. I thought it was a really cool experience. I felt like a survivalist. Like,
dude, Mike was super smart in his approach to do this because he kept us a secret, right? I didn't know about this. And you knew we did the expected, right? We ate we grilled some food, we shot a bunch of fucking guns and did all this cool stuff and had a fire. Like that was expected, right?
Was it overnight or just a day?
No, it was
3 day.
It was
3-day event.
Yeah, we were there for a minute.
And it was super cool, super fun. And then he didn't tell us that Saturday we were gonna help.
Yeah, with no idea.
Yeah.
With the ranching.
Yeah, with the ranching, and then that seals the deal with bringing us together. Dude, you gotta go pee.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you go pee.
Okay,
Go
I was
pee.
like, all right.
So then, so Mike didn't tell us, and I remember. So it was Friday. The rancher came, and I was like, oh, that's dope. Oh no, not Friday. Thursday night, the rancher came, and I remember thinking like, first I was like, oh, it was cool to see him, but at the same time, why is the rancher here? And then they're like, oh, you guys are gonna help us out Saturday, and then. We all looked at Mike like, what? And then he's like, oh, yeah. And then for the shooting competition, the losing team eat the ball. And we were like, fuck. So when we're shooting, I remember because we lost by one event. Oh. And I remember it was the last event to seal the deal because it was a draw.
Yeah.
And I remember each time my teammate was missing, I remember just thinking like, I'm gonna eat balls. And it was just like it was like a sickening fucking feeling in my gut, and I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I remember thinking like, fuck no, dude. If one person says I'm not gonna do it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, fuck that, I'm not gonna do it. But then of course I knew I was gonna do it because I couldn't bitch out.
Can't bitch out,
dude. And yeah, but in that, dude, it was hard for me to describe what happened in that pen, and then the other Mike, he explained it perfectly. He said, you know, the shooting was you know, the skill varies, the hiking, because we did like a little like land off course, and we got partnered up with someone else to have an opportunity to meet this new person, because we were all told to bring a +1. And I did have, so Cameron was my +1, and then you at the land nav event you didn't get your +1, you got someone else's +1. So then this way, yeah. And so even then the hiking, the physical fitness, and land nav skills varied, but at the pin we were all equal, as in none of us knew.
Yeah, we were all ground zero.
Zero.
Nobody did this before. So
yeah.
It's like we all started at a clean slate.
And then that's what really brought us together, because you're about to be vulnerable. You don't want to look bad in front of all these people, so you're trying to do your best, and you're gonna look silly. We all look silly.
Yeah.
Some more than others. Some dudes look super cool. I was just like, oh my god, fucking, yeah, you look like you do this before. But even then,
it's like the tossing the cap.
Yeah, man, and it's all technical skill, just like Olympic lifting. Yeah. Like it would be it's all technical and it's all timing, because like you would have to wait for the calf to be at a specific, like if it started kicking, because these motherfuckers were
and they're strong.
They're strong and squirrely. I mean, the cows, they weighed like 150 pounds already?
Dude, the bigger ones were 250.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I gotta wait for this thing to be at a specific height, like to be in the perfect timing of its jump, or of its buck, so the feet are already off the ground, and then you're basically doing a triple extension with your hip and turning that thing over on its side. I mean, you were trying to fucking sweep kick yours, dude. I was like, what are you doing?
Because, well, dude, during moments of stress, you go back to what you know.
Your training, yeah.
So, dude, the rancher gave us a fucking little quick class on what to do. Yeah. And then when I first got to the fucking calf.
In your defense, you had one of the biggest ones.
Dude, originally. It fucking bucked a little bit, just a little bit. And I felt that force, and immediately I was like, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
Like this, I thought this thing was I don't know, 90 pounds or something. I don't know. My head didn't comprehend that, like, yo, this thing weighs more than fucking you. All right.
Already,
And it's
yeah.
way stronger than you. So I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, okay, well, I can't bitch out. I got to do this. I got to figure something out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to sweep it. So I swept it. Only the first fucking, the front legs.
Yeah.
Well,
Or on the ground. It doesn't work like a human.
What about the fucking back?
Two sets. You gotta do 2 sweeps.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
right?
got to go for the quadruple leg takedown,
Yeah,
man. Not
dude.
the double leg.
Yeah.
So that was a good time. And I think Mike wants to do another one. I want to do another one. We will do another one, do more stuff like this. Mike is building something. And especially moments like now with the Afghan thing, I think it's what a lot of us need, man.
Yeah.
Instead of just being angry and not doing something, or maybe you feel down or whatever, it's group events to know that, like, yo, man, the government might have this or that or this,
They
but hey,
handled it.
people care. All right, you got support, man. So
Camaraderie.
yeah. So with that said, dude, what is your take on that? Right
That
now?
was a rough time, man. It was a rough time. Are you talking about the Afghanistan situation?
yeah. So when you first found out,
Yeah, I was. So I'm not gonna beat my chest like I'm the Afghanistan like fucking campaigns medal holder. I did my time in Syria. Like I had one deployment when I was in regiment. I missed out on 2 Afghanistan deployments and an Iraq deployment.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I can't. You know, it's not like you can like volunteer. Be like, I volunteer to go this time. It's all, you know. What happens
Yeah.
essentially. But I mean, I do have, you know, close friends that have spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. I've lost buddies that, you know, got taken down in Afghanistan. And, you know, you still have a personal connection to it just based off of your buddies that, you know,
Yeah.
went there. But it was 100% an extremely terrible event. And, you know, that event it basically became a daisy chain of events that, you know, resulted in the loss of more lives that should have been avoided. But at the end of the day, like the event was great, you know, and then I found myself falling back into that negativity and that spiral of just like real anger. And then I don't know how people can be so angry all the time,
Yeah.
man. Like, I mean, some of the people like I follow on Instagram are just constantly complaining about something or
Yep.
just like being super negative towards things that are going on. And like, yeah, I mean, some of it is, you know, justified, but how do you maintain that state and like be able to function?
like you can't just be angry all day, every day.
dude.
You have to do something about it if you truly feel a certain way about it. Because if not, you're just bitching and complaining. Like a perfect example that I keep using, and it's one of my favorite examples is that when I would go to the Veteran Resource Center at school, day in and day out, it'd be the same 2-3 people bitching and complaining all day, every day about people who they considered that all they do is bitch and complain.
Yeah.
Like, do you not
You're
see?
doing the same thing.
You're doing the same thing,
Same,
homie.
but different.
You gotta do something about it. You
Yeah.
can't just fucking keep doing it.
Or just move on, dude.
Or
Yeah.
just move on. And this community, I love the community, but it's not perfect. And
It's
there's
not,
there's
yeah.
a lot of hate. There's a lot of this and that. And it's like, bro, do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, if not, yo, shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
All right. How about tell me about your day? Tell me about something good that happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking
Focus on
hear.
some positivity, man.
Yeah, focus on the positivity, dude. Life is way too short.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is when on your deathbed, if you get a deathbed, is say, you know what? I wish I bitch and complained more online.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the downfalls of social media, right?
Yeah.
It allows anyone and everyone and anyone to literally say whatever. I mean, luckily we're allowed to do that, right? Because of our First Amendment, right? First, you can do that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like that has to have a physical toll on you. Because I know in my personal experience, just a week and a half of 2 weeks of just being angry and like posting and, you know, being like, somebody should pay for this. And obviously, as an individual at my level, I have no power. I have literally zero power. And the powers of numbers, that's a real thing, right? But nothing short term is going to come out of that. This fight is a long term fight.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This obviously there's people in position of power that have people below them in position of power and people below them in position of power that all become this endless cycle. If one steps down, it's not going to change anything. That entire leadership, right, is in cahoots with each other. So I mean, you're gonna have to wait years and years, if anything, for something to truly change or to have a cultural shift, right?
Yep.
Because that new generation has to come in and fix their mistakes. So me bitching and crying for like 2 weeks already, I felt the toll. Like I'm sitting at home, I was literally just on my phone all the time, looking through just the repeat posts of things that are going wrong, and listening to people complaining and being like, yeah, I totally agree with that. Let me talk negatively about it. And I was just like, I ended up putting down my phone.
Yep.
And I was just like, I could feel a physical toll, like a weight is just pushing me down. And then I called my girlfriend. I was like, we're going camping. I was like, we need to escape the bullshit. I was like, we're like, no phones.
Yeah.
I was like, no phones, no nothing. We're going to go up to the wilderness and we're just going to escape for a little bit. And that was the best move I made. Because like now, like I still see shit online, but I'm like, yeah, I mean, I said what I said already. Like,
Yeah.
But did it actually make a difference? No. I understand that there's nothing I can do about it. But the only thing I can control is the way I feel right now.
Yes, and I kept from posting stuff about it and this and that, and then this podcast that I'd been on, it's called American Cholo. I'd been on and I told my story, this and that, and then he asked me, he's like, "Yo, man, you mind going on and giving your thoughts about this and that?" And before that, I'd not made a post about it. I'd not commented on other people's comments.
Mm-hmm.
I've not shared anything. I just kept it to myself because I was like, dude, I can't. I don't want to just add to that's already going on.
I don't fall down that well. It's gonna be hard to fucking get out.
And then I never listened to my shit. Whatever I said, and maybe I should have worded things differently, but I can just tell afterwards. I was like, I got off the live with him, because it was recorded on YouTube, right? But my Wi-Fi connection was shitty, so then I just called him. So I was a caller on his show, and my wife was like, I can tell you were worked up, like, just your tone and this and that. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, remember thinking like it was just 2 hours of me talking about this, and I was all worked up. And I'm like, dude, people are doing this day in and day out.
Yeah, you felt ill, almost like you feel ill. You don't feel like yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not a good feeling.
It's not, dude.
You feel like a completely different person.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But before I forget, you said you had watched the YouTube videos and you knew me before, and I knew about you before the event because of the riots.
Oh, because
somebody had posted of the riots pictures of all those Rangers who were in the National Guard. Because it's a good group of you, right? In your unit.
There's a good chunk of us in the Guard. There's definitely you can find some good dudes in the Guard that are from regiment. It's a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you being from LA, born and raised?
Just about. So I was born in Thousand Oaks, which is just north of Los Angeles. But yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So born and raised, and you do your time in regiment, and then you get out. And National Guard is what it is. Mm-hmm. Experiences vary, and then next thing you know, you get called up to do an assignment like that. And based off you, that someone's from there, what was that like? What did you see?
It was an extremely, I want to say half difficult, half eye-opening, right? Because it was funny because when I got the call, I was fucking wasted. I was partying with my buddies and my girlfriend, and then we got the call, and I was like, oh, shit, I got to be back. And I actually didn't get there the day of the assault, or the day we got called when they were, doing primary this stuff. I got there the next day because I was like, I'm fucking wasted. I can't drive right now.
Yeah.
It was... We got there. We got set up in the Staples Center with just a bunch of cots and everything. And this was right when COVID started, right?
Yeah.
And it was, or just like a month or two after. So we're just piled on top of each other, just in terrible conditions. And we were doing 12 on, 12 off for 10 days straight. And just being there, it's like at first, nobody knew why we were there. The protesters and the rioters, they saw us as part of the LAPD, but at our core, we weren't part of the LAPD. We were essentially the moderators between them both.
Okay.
Right? We were a support system. We let the LAPD do their job, and we were just mitigation to property damage. We were trying to mitigate property damage. So like if you were up there trying to fucking loot the local Nike store for your new fucking boosts or something, we weren't gonna let that happen.
Because did you see different groups? Did you see people protesting, and then you see people taking advantage of the situation?
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, and it's hard because we would sit there, and you know, people, since the protesters, there was one day I specifically remember is they chose our section because I'm in the reconnaissance and the sniper section, which I will argue that is we're a little bit in our conventional unit, we're like the best section in that unit. Because you have to go through like a whole, you know, tryout phase to get there. So you, at least if you show up and you make it past, you have some baseline of motivation and like aspirations to be better at your job, right? You're not just showing up on the weekend in the regular line. But there was one day they picked our section to stand on the stairs of the city hall, which was the hub of where the protesters would meet. And that day there was like there was like 8,000 people in the crowd. And you could just all hear them screaming, "Fuck you," trying to jump the fence and everything. And it was extremely intimidating. Yeah. Because it was just like, there's so much hate. So much hate. And I can understand the justification of like, you know, whatever they were going off about. But it was just like, hey, man, like whatever happened. And like, we understand what you guys are trying to do. But it doesn't seem like you understand what we're trying to do. It was all really one-sided. And a lot of the dudes there were like, they're like, I don't want to fucking be here. There was like, this isn't something, you know. It was a very hard thing because like, obviously people were so upset and you could feel it. You could literally feel it in the air. Like just the hate and the anger and just demand for something to happen. And I remember one time, because I mean, I was trying to be as humanitarian as possible because I remember we got off the fucking MTVs one day and got off the Humvees, and instead of like, I slung my rifle, put it on my back, and grabbed a handful of water bottles and just started walking through the crowd and handing it. And every time I remember I handed it to one dude, and he slaps it, and he's just like, I don't want fucking that shit. Yeah. And he's just like, fuck you, man, stop killing my people in the streets. And I was like, I don't think you understand. I was like, you're running your mouth a lot, so you must be thirsty. I fucking know it, man. It's hot out here.
You told him that?
Yeah, I was like, you're running your mouth a lot. It's hot out here, man. You must be thirsty. And he's like, I don't want that fucking shit. Stop killing our people in the streets. And I was like, hey, man, I haven't killed nobody. I was like, I'm here to give you water bottles and make sure, because I mean, it's their right to protest, right? Yeah. It's an American fucking right. And if you're angry about something, which I mean, it seems like everybody is, left or right at this point, you know. You have the right to gather as long as you're in your fucking constitutional rights and you're not causing damage to property. That's what I had a problem with, because I mean, you have LA locals that, you know, make their living in these stores, and that's how they, you know, be able to feed their families is through these stores that, you know, people are taking advantage of the situation. The one big thing we noticed was the people that are mainly causing these damage weren't even from LA. And a lot of people like in the streets that were yelling at us, and they're like, get the fuck out of our home. And we're like, we're all from here. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're like California. They thought we're like coming from a military base. They had no idea what was going on. Yeah. So it's just the lack of education, the lack of like opening the mind and seeing with the eyes instead of the fucking heart, you know? Because a lot of these people were just emotional responses. Yep. There was no logic behind it. They saw people angry. They felt, because anger is contagious. You know, it's the mob mentality that, you know, if somebody's fucking rioting in the street, I can either A, take advantage of the situation for my own benefit, or B, I'm a human looking to establish relationships, so I better walk too and, you know, do how I feel. And it's funny because I remember seeing a picture of me. I took my helmet off and I was just sitting on the sidelines. I never had my weapon at high ready, ever. Yeah. Except for one time when there was like a fight on a bus and we had to like legit run in the street and like get on the bus and there was like break up a fight. But there's just a picture of me smiling with my fucking peace sign up and I was like, hey, what's up, brother?
Dude, you made national news.
Yeah, we were on like
LA Times.
Didn't at the time the president?
Yeah, he posted our section.
That's fucking crazy, yeah. Dude. Because I knew you guys because the riots were, dude. Somebody from here, like I have family who's in law enforcement, and I got family who's fucking. They're still knuckleheads. They're on the other side of the law, right? So I would talk to my uncle, who's in law enforcement. So even like SWAT officers were called in.
Yeah.
Because they needed all the power. Everybody. And it's like, dude, and he was said the same thing. He's like, a lot of the people who are causing the damage aren't even fucking from here.
They're just people taking advantage of the situation.
And you know, the injured people, officers are getting injured, and then you had some cities where there was even shots fired.
Yeah.
And this and that, and you're just like, dude, I remember I want to do something, but I can't. But you guys did. You know what I mean? So I looked up to that. I looked up to you guys and like, as in like, man, these dudes they're out there in the front of this whole fucking huge mess. Because if you saw the video, you're like, oh shit, man. The problem, this is what I saw with the problem with the video, is that there are people in the military who got in trouble because they thought they saw a gun and they didn't see a gun and it wasn't there. And some of them are in jail, or some of them are you know, they got kicked out or whatever. The point is, what I'm saying is that you have to show more restraint overseas than over here. A cop can just say, I felt threatened. And then there. Yeah. Dude, if I shot somebody every time I felt threatened overseas, I'd kill everybody.
Yeah.
But people, you can't just hear one thing. I have family in law enforcement. All right, so I support law enforcement. I'm a big law enforcement supporter.
No, absolutely.
And that's just facts. You know what I mean? That you have to show more restraint overseas than some of these cops here.
Yeah.
So when I saw that video, I'm like, bro, like, and I remember I saw a picture of a screenshot of the video. Someone was like, with the caption, the knee on the head for like 9 minutes. And I remember just flipping through it like, yeah, whatever. Like, it ain't fucking 9 minutes. Ain't no one's gonna fucking put their knee on someone's head for fucking 9 minutes, all right? I train to fucking choke people out, and people can they can be choked out in a matter of a second or two, right? When you do it properly. Ain't nobody gonna put a fucking knee on someone's neck. And then I saw the video, I was like, oh shit, he put the fucking knee on, you know? So I was like, yo, if that was a criminal, or I don't know what he may or may not have done, but I was just like immediately thinking, that's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. You know, and why is it that I have to show more restraint with terrorists, and you show less here with this dude, whether he made, whatever he did or didn't do, and then the color thing, you can't ignore that. And then when you hear people in the background saying like, "Yo, stop," and then he doesn't want to do it. We've met people in the military, because of somebody said the opposite. They're just gonna do it because they're in that authority. And then we see people who will never get out of the military because they know when they get out they'll be fucking nobodies. They're not gonna have control over people. They're not gonna be the man. And people like that get into law enforcement. So immediately I quickly saw somebody like, yo, in that area, and I knew it was going to be a mess, but I didn't think it was going to be a huge mess as in what I saw. So like I'm just a bystander. So that's why I'm very interested in what you saw, because you were in the fucking thick of it, dude.
It was like I said, I was more intimidated in LA than driving through a fucking street in Syria.
Yeah.
It was like, because I mean, Syria, we trained for that, right? And it's like, that's why we're there. It's because we want, I wish a motherfucker would.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, and it was like, because man, I would have a blast. That was like why I wanted to fucking go. But the least thing I would ever expect is to be activated to go to my hometown to be given ROE that was less restrictive than I had overseas.
Damn.
Literally, they gave us rounds, and they're like, "Here, carry these books on you, men." They give us like this big breather. They're like, "Carry these books on you. It tells you everything you can do." And literally, it says, if you're preventing harm to another person or you feel threatened, you are allowed to engage. Yeah. And I'm like, half these fucking dummies in the National Guard have only shot their gun on a qual, and they barely qual. And I was like, they don't understand backstops. If they start shooting, those bullets are going to fucking keep going, man, and hit some innocent bystanders. So it's like, that was scary on trusting the guys to my left and right, just making sure that, you know, they knew. And because, hell, this is already such a bad scenario on our parts. Like, a lot of these guys don't want to be here in the first place. Now you're going to put them in a scenario to almost mediate something that they are strongly on the side of. Or against, right? So now you're creating division within the unit.
Yeah, because you have people who put their whole life savings and work real hard, and you're seeing their property get destroyed. And then, but then, you know, you have people that, you know, for a long time have had to deal with, you know, fucked up shit when it comes to racism.
Yeah.
And so they feel a certain way about it, and then you probably feel a certain way about it, and just emotionally, like,
Yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster. That's how I described it.
Dude.
So like the one thing I did because I mean I'm one of the squad leaders, so the one thing I really wanted my guys to really do, instead of thinking at it as a defense strategy, I wanted them to think about it more as a humanitarian effort than a defensive effort, right? Because I mean, I personally thought the entire thing it did spark, you know, concern for what was going on. I think the lack of training, because I understand both sides of it. Like, I understand the knee on the back of the neck is an authorized training technique, and I've seen it used. And it's been used for, you know, a long fucking time.
Yep.
And you know,
and you have to, because some of these motherfuckers fight back.
Fuck yeah. Especially, you know, if they're hopped up on drugs.
Dude, I've seen all the LA police fucking videos, and it's fucking, dude, it's
you
no
gotta
joke.
do what you gotta do, especially if you're to keep yourself from coming home, right? 'Cause at that point, you know better than anyone it's you or them, right? But I mean, I just felt the situation was really handled, you know, incorrectly. There was a lot of points for change of how they could attack it differently, and they continued taking a spearhead which ultimately led into, you know, this fucking flame that just set across the nation. So it's like, I understood what the protesters were doing. I'm like, hey man, you're allowed to be here. Like, you know, just understand, I'm trying to help you by keeping the city safe. Please riot, and please protest all you want, but the second you try to hurt this beautiful nation and, you know, rob other people of their businesses and their resources and, you know, their livelihood, I'm gonna come with you with a fucking hammer and I'm gonna drop it. Yeah. So like, we were handing out water bottles to all the protesters and everything, talking with them and whatnot, trying to open eyes, because everybody thought we were there to literally kill them. Like, everybody, like, I had dudes literally like shivering in the streets when I would come up to them and offer them a water bottle or fucking something, and it was just like, damn, bro, I'm literally trying to help you. Keep doing what you're doing, right? I hope it, you know, you guys do something, because I'm doing my part, you do your part. And I will admit that sometimes I would get a little frustrated with the LAPD, because we were working pretty closely with them. But like I said, we weren't like working for them. But there was like some dudes on the force that just like plain ignorant. Like, just some of the shit that would come out of their mouth. And I'd be like, you realize if anybody heard this would just get 10 times worse for you guys. Yeah. Like, you guys are the ones underneath the magnifying glass. And it's just, man.
Dude, like, I completely agree with you. And I know where you're going with this, because, again, man, I'm a big supporter of law enforcement.
Oh, yeah. I think law enforcement have the hardest job in the world.
The hard job. But I'm also a big believer that there are very few people who are actually qualified for that job. And what I mean by that is that there are some people who can meet and pass the requirements to enter, but they're not actually qualified.
Exactly. We see that in the military all the time.
And we see that in the military all the time. Yep. And special operations, they try to this is another reason why I like special operations, because they do a good job to try to weed out certain people. Do some people slip through the cracks? Yes.
That happens everywhere.
It happens everywhere. But law enforcement, I'm just like, you know, we hang around and we're, whether it's at a veteran law enforcement event or whatever, we're drinking, and you hear some people and they're, you know, from certain areas and backgrounds and this and that, and then you're like, oh, you know what, dude, you make a good cop, and then you'll hear a conversation about this or this, and I'm like, bro, you're the reason why people don't like cops, man. Like, dude, homie, or like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, if people hear you this shit, dude, you're gonna get in trouble, man.
You're gonna get in trouble, and you're gonna make it harder for your homies.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys already have a hard enough time.
And it's like, dude, a perfect example why, look, man, I'm a big supporter of law enforcement, but and I've had so much trouble with the city that I live in with their cops, right? And I actually just started making some friends off the fucking where I live. I guess at this point everybody knows where I live, because I've had so many events at my house, dozens of fucking veterans that come. Everyone, I post where I run, I post where my gym is at.
You're gonna start getting some stalkers that'll kill you and take your hair or something, dude.
Dude, you know what, man? Dude, I live like that. Like, dude, I live my life not on alert, but at the same time, I'm not the dude who's like walking around his house
Nonchalant.
with a fucking gun, you know, and his holster and walking around and just like pointing my gun at the fucking front door if I hear a noise. No, I'm not that dude. But and sometimes I blank out. Yeah, I'm thinking about the day, this and that. And if somebody kills me, guess what, man? Like a whatever, like not a stalker, but what I'm saying is like I live my life as if ISIS is after me. Mm-hmm. Like a terrorist is gonna try. You know, a perfect example is somebody, I can't remember what country it is, killed a service member because they looked at him and they're like, oh, you are in the service. And then if I remember correctly,
It's very easy to identify.
yeah, they cut his head off.
Yeah.
They cut his head off. That dude cut his head off.
Fuck.
And I don't think that not just service members, but veterans could be a target. You know, if for someone who's angry, happens to be in this country, makes it into this country one way or another, and just wants revenge. Like that
Absolutely, that's a message, man.
That is, yeah, it's a message and it's a possibility. So, you know, I live my life that way, right?
Yeah.
So long story short, if somebody wants to, well, fucking bring it. All right.
Yeah.
I'm daydreaming about this shit all the time. As I'm having fun with my kids, I'm like, all right, I don't fucking train martial arts because I want to be a fucking martial artist. No,
Yeah.
I train martial arts and I still shoot because I don't think my days of getting together with my homies and having to take care of some shit are over.
Yeah.
I don't think they're over.
I'm in the same boat there, dude. Like I've been at this CrossFit gym for a while now.
Yeah.
And or at least like a couple months, and pretty much I'm getting pretty good at it. I will give myself a pat in the back. Like my times are really competitive with like
Yeah.
some of the women and some of the guys that are like pushing regionals like for CrossFit.
Nice.
And they're always like, sometimes I'll get comments be like, dude, like if you're prepping for regionals, you know, you can't do that or anything, or you know, be like, hey, if you really want to go to, and I was like, dude, I'm not doing this to fucking compete. I'm doing this because it's gonna put me in the best shape, just in case I gotta chase a motherfucker up a mountain and fucking
Yeah.
put my boot in the back of his fucking skull.
Dude, 100%.
So I still train like I'm in the military, just because you never know what's gonna fucking happen.
Yep.
Especially in such a volatile world like what we're living in.
Yep.
Nah, man, you always, if you're not staying prepared, you're fucking the first one to go.
Yeah, dude, and it's not just shooting. This is why I work and I like DSG, because when Mike asked me, for the listeners, DSG is a Defense Strategies Group. You know, we do training from law enforcement officers, you know, federal agents, to, you know, women who want to learn how to shoot. Mm-hmm. And what I like is his approach isn't just shooting, it's fitness, right?
Yeah.
So we have a stress course after every single range day, and it's because you have to. Shooting is one part of being a prepared individual who's ready to take care of himself and his loved ones.
Yeah, man.
There's you know, physical fitness, which tagged with that is your nutrition, your hydration, your sleep, you know, your quality of mental and physical health. So Mike believes in all that. So when he asked me to be part of the company, I said, fuck yeah. Because just like how you said, we like to stay ready. So, I mean, but to the subject that I was going to, it's that, dude, when in the city that I remember I got pulled over and I just got done training with my brother. We were training Muay Thai. So some of the listeners don't know, dude, martial arts gear, you're basically trying to wear the shortest shorts of the short, all right? So I'm not
like
wearing...
that. I'm already a fan of that.
Yeah, I'm not wearing baggy clothes. I'm wearing a tight shirt. We're all fucking sweaty, and I get pulled over by some cops. And they're like, and I told my brother we were going to get pulled over before we got pulled over.
You saw him and you're like, we're getting pulled over.
Yeah, because I was about to make a left, and then they were about to make a left on the opposite side, right? So they're about to turn into our lane, and there was a non-marked police officer. And I saw them first before they saw me, because that's just when I drive. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, sometimes I zone out, but I pay attention to everybody, you know, everything, my surroundings. If I have to there's been some times where somebody swerves into my lane, whether because they're texting drunk or whatever, and I immediately just swerved to the other lane and to avoid to get hit. And my brother's like, dude, how did you know that there wasn't a car
You're
next to you?
reading people, man.
I was like, well, one, I was reading the body language
Yeah.
or of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And then I swerved into the other lane fast because I knew there wasn't a car there because I'd been checking
all the time.
yeah. So I saw them and they were just looking and I saw them first, and so now I get a red light, so I'm right there in front of the intersection, and then they're crossing to do their left, and they're just looking at me breaking their necks, and then my light turns green, so I go, and the way they both broke their necks, I was like, we're about to get pulled over. So then I turn into my street, and there they are, and they're like, license and registration, and I was like, here's my license and registration. They're like, you know why I pulled you over? I was like, nah. And they're like, oh, because this vehicle was seen doing a crime earlier, and then it's suspicious. And I was like, in my head, I already knew bullshit. First of all, I don't drive some Honda that.
This is an extremely identifiable vehicle.
This is at the time. I wasn't in the limo. I was I was in my E30, 1990 E30, right? And I'm like, yo, these motherfuckers aren't driving around the city, all right? I probably got like the only one in the city, if that, or maybe a handful. So I was like, but I know the game because I have family members. I know the game. So I was like, all right. They're like, where you come from? I was like, my brother and I are super sweaty, right? We just got done training. He's getting ready for a fight. I'm getting ready for a fight. We're in training camp, and I'm like, we just got done training. We train at Classic Fight Team, and we just got done training. That's why him and I are sweaty, and that's why we're dressed the way we're dressed.
Yeah.
And then
why are you so sweaty? Watching cops?
Yeah, watching cops.
Just got done running from you fucks, huh?
but before I forget, when they rolled up on us, dude, like they were guns out, fucking. They thought, dude, we're about to fucking get it on, and dude, we're in short shorts, we're sweaty. And my brother has terrible anxiety issues, right? So he looks like there's like a fucking dead body with some kilos in the trunk.
Yeah.
And they're like, where's your ID? And he's like, I don't have one. He's like, there's no pockets in the shorts. And then I can tell one of them was like super on alert, the cop, because my brother's look. And then to de-escalate the situation, I was like, look, my name's Agent Cortez. I'm a former Army Ranger. The reason why my brother looks that way is because he has anxiety issues from childhood. I worked my shit out in the military, which is why I'm a lot calmer. This officer looks like he's ready to fucking shoot. My brother looks like he's hiding dead bodies. Like, yo, how about we all just relax,
Yeah.
And then they kind of almost relax. And then another cop comes. Last thing he heard was, yo, I got fucking two dudes, this vehicle, getting pulled over. So he comes hot and ready. And then the other cop who's right next to me I can tell he's trying to de-escalate the situation. But the other cop, I'm guessing, is higher ranking. Because he's like, no, you don't have his driver license. No, we can't just let them go. And they're like, where do you live? And I'm like, right here, this house. The one with the big American flag in the front. And then they're like we can't but we don't have his driver's license or his ID. They're like, and then he's like, the other cop who just came, he's like, tell him to get out. Take a picture of all their tattoos. And then so they're like, you guys got to get out of your car. And so at this point, all my neighbors are out. They're all looking through the windows. I live in a predominantly white and Asian neighborhood, and they're all out. And they already think I'm a drug dealer because I'm the only young dude there who has a fucking 1992 Lincoln Town car as his fucking personal daily car, right? And they're like, do you have any more tattoos? And I was like, yeah, I'm covered in tattoos. They're like, take off your shirts. And so there I am, dude, taking off my shirt, facing front, facing left, facing right. They're taking pictures of all my tattoos, and I'm pro cop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, this is why people fucking hate the cops.
Yeah.
Because I told you I'm a former Army Ranger. This is my fucking house with the big American flag in the front. I'm covered once you see tattoos. They're military tattoos.
Yeah.
Some of them are from past times. See, I know you can pull me up on my driver's license. I'm not a criminal. But you don't know who my brother is. So you have to do all this because this other fucking cop who came in hyped, super fucking jacked, is like, fuck that. Nah, dude. Take pictures of all their shit. And then, dude, now you're making me look bad for my neighborhood. And I remember thinking, like, you have no idea how much I do for the law enforcement, low income, and veteran community to treat me like this.
Yeah.
So then I go to the police station, And the lieutenant's like, so I told some people about this. They're like, dude, you need to lawyer up. Fucking sue their ass. And I'm like, I don't want to sue their ass. I like cops. So I go to the police station, and they're like, oh, and I told them who I was, and I know they looked me up, the lieutenant and all that. And he's like, and I was like, I just want those pictures. I want them. And then he's like, he calls me. He's like, let me get back to you. And he calls me a day later. He's like, yeah, there's no pictures. They don't exist. And I was like, dude, I was just gonna fucking make a shirt out of it because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, man. I'd love to find my mugshot.
They're thinking like, this dude's gonna sue us because of excessive whatever, and you're not allowed to fucking do that for this or that. I don't fucking know. But the point is, I was like, dude, the way you treated us is you're super hyped. You see everything as a target. I get it. Your job is overwhelming. You see the worst of the worst. It was just a terrible fucking situation, dude. And I was just like, afterwards, I'm like, damn, dude, I told you all this about me to de-escalate the situation, and this other cop who came in later was just like, nah, fuck all his shit.
Yeah.
Treat him like that in front of his neighborhood. And I'm just like, dude, half my neighbors still already don't talk to me because they think I'm this or that. And now for sure they're like, this dude is a criminal.
Criminal, man.
Anyways.
That's a shitty story, man. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Dude, but as soon as I made that, I made a comment about that, and a bunch of people text me. They're like, dude, in that city, not much happens.
Yeah.
So they're looking for
They're
work.
looking for something. They're looking for work actively.
Yeah.
Because they can't be. I mean, Los Angeles, the cops are so chill. In LAPD, like every time I've ever gotten in trouble in Ventura County, they're like, "Are you in LA County?" Oh man, yeah. If it was in LA County, we could have taken care of it really easily. Just because there's so much policing to do in that city. I mean, fucking the response time for LAPD right now in my area, Studio City, is like 24 minutes.
Fuck.
24 minutes. I moved into my apartment with my girlfriend, and I've already had to pull my pistol on 2 or 3 individuals just in my home, right? And it's because the homeless issue is real bad. Just the drug fucking, yeah, it's really close to my apartment. And I mean, I got transients going up and down the street all day. Just middle of the night, you'll hear someone just blood curdling scream, and it's just some fucking crazy outside. But yeah, day 3, I told you the story.
Yeah.
But yeah, my 3rd day in my apartment after I moved in, I have a little like a brown fence in front of my apartment that pretty much separates me from like the outside world. And when we first moved in, I was talking to the landlord. He's like, "Oh, this is a really good area, man." He's like, "Yeah, it's like right at the base of the Hollywood Hills, just right off the highway." I don't know if you've ever been to like Universal Studios, but
Nope.
It's literally right across the street from Universal Studios. And the last guy, he's like, "Yeah, nothing's really happened here." Because I'm always about security, just from my background. I'm just like, I want to keep myself safe, keep my girlfriend safe and my cats safe, because I'm most concerned about them. But you can throw a padlock on. It's like a little backyard fence. If you want to go on the side gate, they have the little latch, and you can put a padlock in it. Well, I didn't do that, and so we're sitting there at the couch watching The Office, and all of a sudden I hear my ring go off, and the gate opens up and like swings open, and the ring goes off, and I'm like, we're not expecting anybody, and it's 8:00 at night, so I'm like, who the fuck is going this? And all of a sudden I hear someone start pulling on my door and like trying to undo the door, and like start pounding on it, and there's like gibberish going on. I'm like, what the fuck? So I grab my Glock, and I'm like, fucking thankfully I had like a flashlight on it, and I like have this curtain, this giant single pane window next to the door, and I do like a curtain drill, like 1, 2, 3, boom, and like turn the light on, and I just see this tweaker chick just like walking back and forth, and like opening the door, like asking, "Can I get a soda?" And I'm just like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And it's, dude, and we called the cops because my girlfriend grew up in a town that has like one of the lowest crime rates in California. It's like Camarillo. There's a saying. It's like, it's for the newlyweds and the nearly deads, because the only people who live there are brand new couples and old people. Yeah. So so she's never been like exposed to this. Even her dad leaves the door unlocked at night, and like there's just a little a mesh fence that the actual door's open, and there's just a mesh fence to let airflow come in, and it's unlocked. So that's how safe that neighborhood is. Yeah. And she runs into this, and she's fucking losing shit. And she's like on the phone with the cops. She's like, "They're gonna fucking kill me!" And that type of 911 call, 24 minutes for them to get there.
Dude, it is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And because I want to understand the job more, dude, I just did a ride along,
Yeah.
you know, and
How'd that go?
dude, the first call, it's some dude exposing himself to kids.
Oh, dude, that's hard not to go and fuck that guy
Dude,
up.
the second call, some dude, he's drunk and he's fucking throwing bottles, punching shit, and I was just like, dude, I remember thinking, I wonder if I'll see anything. I wonder if I'll experience something or whatever. First of all, it was fucking cool. Cool experience, as in seeing what they're doing and them being so like cool with me.
Yeah.
Because like I thought like I'm gonna be in the seat and then they're gonna be like, stay in the car, and then I'll just stay in the car.
Yeah.
And know how it is. They're like, nah, man, come over here. Like fucking,
Did you tell him your background?
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Little snot-nosed 16-year-old kid Jimmy, can I come along?
Yeah.
And he's like, stay in the fucking car.
They're like, nah, fucking come here, dude.
Yeah.
So that call, dude, that with exposing himself to kids, dude, I saw the dude, and I'm thinking like, dude, we're like, it's gonna be a fucking foot pursuit or whatever. Because I remember, so my wife Annalie, she was like, oh, you should, wear these shoes so you're comfortable, and they're like dress comfortable shoes. They're like one of those. It's not the super like dress shoes. You ever seen the hybrid?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hybrid looking one where it's like it's dress shoes on top, but if you look at the soles, you're like, oh,
Got
this
some insoles.
yeah,
Got some bounce to it.
comfies, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like, you should wear those. I was like, I ain't gonna be fucking running.
Yeah.
Dude, they were like, yeah, be part of this. Like, yeah, be right here, be right next to me. So I thought it was gonna be a foot pursuit or something, and it was behind a 7-Eleven, and it was the dark shadow thing. Like, shadow was blocking him, but I saw him. Like, I didn't see his penis, dude, but I saw him.
Dude, I'm just imagining that movie with the mall cops when he's going up to chicks and just like,
No, dude, he's jerking away.
he's whacking it?
Bro, he was, and so when we busted the bitch and got out, by that it's two cop cars.
Yeah.
And then they fucking, he stops and dude, I was like, dude, I want to fucking just smash this dude.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not even on the job. This
Yeah.
is the first call, and I'm already in that mode. Like, I'm gonna fucking smash, right?
Yeah.
Dude. So I can only imagine. I try to put myself in the cop's shoes all the time,
hard.
and I'm like, yo, this is a tough job, and that's why I say a lot of people aren't qualified actually to do this job.
Yeah.
So after that, I remember I asked him, I was like, yo, how many years you been on? He's like, 10 years, and I'm like, what is the city look like? And because I did this ride along in the city that I used to be causing all this trouble.
Really?
And I asked him, and he's like, well, the gangs, they used to be high, yeah, like it was like their peak years. He's like, but it's actually kind of like turned down. There's still drugs and this and that. And so, as a matter of fact, we just had a double murder like last week. And then he said the peak years of the gang activity, and I was like, yep, that's when I was there.
That was me.
That was me. What up?
Yeah, be like, all grown up.
Dude, I told him.
Really?
Dude, I told him I was a fucking gang member.
Really?
Dude, it was hilarious because so the cop's a buddy of mine now, right? And he's like, we do a ride along. Tell him you used to be a gang member here, and he was like, ha ha ha, right? So I thought he was serious. So when I did my introduction, I was like, yeah, my name's Cortez. I'm a former Army Ranger. I spent almost a decade in the military as part of the Special Operations Community, especially in Iraq and Afghanistan. I do a lot of low-income veteran and law enforcement work through my company, OG Pumpkin. And I was like, oh yeah, and back in the day, I used to be around here on the streets causing trouble because I'm a former gang member. So the chief, or not the chief, the lieutenant or whoever the fuck is in charge, and everyone else was like, and my friend just started laughing, and he's like, dude, I didn't mean for you to say that. And I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, I used to run with the 805 Locos, man, right here.
So I was like, oh, my bad. So then, so I asked him, like, yo, man, like, what about the look? After small talk, I asked, like, dude, what is your experience been like in the 10 years that you've been in on how people approach the profession and you went into it and more I could try to understand their position, The the job is hard. You know, I've talked to some cops who are like, dude, I'm proud of being a cop. But I don't, when I meet people, I don't tell them I'm a cop because I don't know.
Immediate judgment.
Yeah, immediate judgment. I don't know how they're going to react towards me. And I can see their position, right? Being part of something so proud, but yet they're like, I can't talk about it. Because if I talk about it, maybe I might be treated a certain way, you know, because immediately they're going to think this or that.
Or they put a target on your back.
Yeah, man, the job is hard, dude.
It's such a hard job. I mean, I got so much respect for those people in law enforcement. And it's like you said, there's literally people that slither through the cracks everywhere you go, and those are the ones that leave the everlasting impression.
Yep.
Because, I mean, it's funny, my girlfriend used to be, like, pretty anti-cop and whatnot, and I'm probably one of the least political fucking people, and I mean, everybody says that, right? Oh, I'm not political at all, but I try to see things from like both sides of the spectrum.
Yep.
And
I'm the same way, dude.
Yeah.
I'll say things, and some people would be like, dude, you're
crazy, man.
You're fucking. Are you
like,
are you fucking some type of liberal? And I was like,
Yeah.
nah, dude. I just
just
see this thing, and then I'll say another thing. They'll be like, this dude's a fucking hardcore Republican. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
dude.
no, dude. I don't play the political thing.
Yeah,
I
I do what makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, just based off morals.
And I adjust based on life. Like, so if I learn something and then I'm like, there's
Mm-hmm.
been times where like I admit, oh, I was wrong, or I didn't see the full picture. Now this is how I see things.
Yeah.
I'm not married to my ideas forever. Like
Exactly.
this is the stand, and no matter what happens, you know,
Oh,
I'm
dude,
not
opinions are meant to be changed. And
Yeah.
I mean, if there's nothing that influences a change in it, then you stick with it. So it's like, that's why exposing yourself to different things is so important. Because, I mean, you could have a change of mind or a change of heart or whatever. But yeah, dude, law enforcement is such a respected job. I have dudes in my National Guard unit underneath me. And it was funny because when we started the LA riot thing, they were super gung-ho, right? Being fucking knuckleheads. And I was like, you're only going to make this situation worse. And after like a week of being there, they were right next to me handing out like water bottles and everything. And I was just like, dude, because I've met some superstar cops, right?
Yeah.
Just like dudes that I would love to like work my area, and I would love to have, like, when I have children, to have like the children around to see how like positive of the thing law enforcement is. And going back to my original thought, my girlfriend used to be pretty anti-cop. And it's funny, I made her watch like 3 seasons of Cops.
Nice.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Oh my fucking god!" Like, no wonder. It's because, I mean, there's a very distinct line of like the bullshit they have to deal with on a daily basis. Which, I mean, no wonder some of these dudes just fucking pull the trigger. Because I know I would. Fucking. That's why I'm not a cop. Because, yeah, but no, man, it's extremely commendable position. But you're right. Like, there's a lot of people that aren't qualified to be there, and it might just be a lack of training, or like the pipeline takes, too short, and there's the emphasis on CE, continued education, while you're in. Because I mean, from what I understand, and all the observations I've been given from the guys on the force in my National Guard unit, they're, in my eyes, they're amazing cops. Like, they do everything right. They protect your constitutional rights at all costs. So I know a lot of them that are like, have come across guys with firearms on them and just fucking, as long as they're not, felons or, you know, and gang members that have intent to, harm others, they fucking turn the other cheek because they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But, there's some that are just, don't have that understanding of being able to switch it on. They're just in that red zone the entire time. And it's like, it's pretty easy. Well, I don't want to say it's easy, but like at the beginning of this podcast, I mentioned that color system. And like and that has to do with situational awareness and combat mindset, going back to that. There is a specific color that we operate in, and it's orange, right? It's because, if you're on green, you're lackadaisical. You don't have any worry that there's going to be a threat. You're just, going through the day like there's not a care in the world. And then you have like yellow, which you basically have a little bit of, so you're just like, when I'm walking down the street every 5 minutes, I'm like, cool. I'm like, hey, I'm going to have a great day, but I'm not going to be so concerned with my personal safety that it's going to affect my mindset, right?
Yep.
And then the reason I mentioned orange is because that's the next level. And that's what we should be in when we're overseas, right?
Yep.
there is a threat here, right? I'm still going to continue my daily operations, especially like if we have shit to do around the fob or shit to do around the post. I understand that there is a big threat out there, but I'm not at the high ready everywhere. I'm just situationally aware. I'm in the orange. I know something can happen at any minute, but I'm prepared if it does, right? It doesn't sneak up on me. And then red is just fucking, I'm gun up all the time, looking left and right, fucking tunnel vision on my threat, right?
Yeah.
So some of those cops, man, are constantly on red. When they pull someone over, all like common sense, all people skills goes out the window. They're just focused on policing skills. And I'm like, people skills and policing skills, if you figure out how to mix those two together, I think you're gonna be fucking solid. But dudes,
What's something like ringing right here, huh?
oh, is it the
I
water
think,
bottle
it's shaking.
spinning?
Can you hear this?
Can you hear
A
that?
little bit.
Okay, I'll just put it on the ground or something. But yeah, man, it's that takes a fine skill. It's like some dude could easily come up to you and be like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" with still his hand on his gun.
Yeah.
You know, or really quick. I mean, we train draws, right? We train the OODA loop because we train the decision making process. And I mean, once the threat perceives itself, I mean, muscle memory takes action there. But that's just my thoughts on it. I don't know. What do you think?
Dude, I think everyone should just do a bunch of mushrooms. I think you should get politicians to do a bunch of mushrooms.
Dude, I would love to do mushrooms.
I think if you've been in the system for a long, long time, you get the fuck out. I think there should be an age limit. I think a lot of things that we should cover at a different time. Dude, before we get down a fucking another rabbit hole, so what's next for you?
Woo, that's an interesting question. I don't know, man. I watched this John Cena movie recently. It's really fun. It's called Vacation Friends. Check it out. It's hilarious. Don't watch it with your kids. But
right.
it's he's like an ex-Green Beret who he meets these people on vacation, and they're just the most wild people in the world. And I remember one quote from the movie because the character is always like super, or his friend who's the character is like super, anxious all the time, is like super by the book, like we don't plan, we can't do anything. And John Cena's character is like a super, like when chaos is going, he's always calm and he's always like, oh, whatever, man, whatever happens, happens. He told a little story and he's like, when I was in Green Beret training, they woke us up in the middle of the night and they took us a mile off the coast, dropped us in the water and said, swim back. And I was watching all my teammates pedaling or basically swimming against the current and trying to get there and exerting all their energy. And then I took a second and I realized, if I just sit here and float, the current will take me where I need to go. And he's like, so I just, I go with the flow. And he's just like, you just need to go with the flow. So that's where I kind of see myself right now. I mean, I'm getting all these opportunities coming to me, and I'm just going with the flow, man, and seeing what feels right.
Yeah.
And initially putting my priorities in what's best for me and my family right now, and then everything falls underneath that needs to be there. So try not to force anything to happen.
Dude, that's a great answer. That's what I'm doing. I like what you're doing. I think you'll be successful in whatever it is that you do.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
And dude, it was good having you on. So tell people again, what is your Instagram for your clothing and yours?
Okay, yeah, if you guys want to check me out, you can find my personal at Cameron C. Fath on Instagram, or you can check out my streetwear brand. Again, that's KitGod, KITGOD, and that's at KitGod Apparel on Instagram or www.kitgodapparel.com. Thanks for having me, man. This has been a really good time.
Dude, anytime, man. I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, and then I'll bring up one last thing about the shrooms.
Shrooms.
Yeah,
dude.
so our sponsors are Thrash and Raid, which is a skateboard company made by a former Marine Special Operations individual. Him and his family are doing great things. And then the Hero Games charity, where they host a selection type event, where you work as a team, you do, you go through water, you carry some sandbags, you do all this and that, carry a rug, and all the proceeds go towards a fallen member's family. I've been there. I attended the event as in a participant, and then this year I was a sponsor. And they do. It's a beautiful thing because when a service member dies, there's the initial. I hate to say this, but it's like the initial wave of like
shock.
People. No, not just shock, but people saying that they care, and they will be there.
Mm-hmm.
And then after some time passes, then it's gone. But they care. They truly care, and they keep bringing out, you know, or helping in one way or another the year after that, and the year after that, because they don't forget about the family. They don't forget about the fallen service member. And I like what they're doing, because they fly them out to give them an experience, to show them like, hey man, people care. There's people who care here, and and if you need something, let us know, you know, whether it's small, big, or whatever. And if I can't be there, guess what? I know people in your area that can do something for you. I love what they're doing. So yeah, but for the shrooms, dude, I think shrooms are going to be the next. It's going to be the weed thing, as in, if a lot of people said weed will never be legal, you're fucking crazy, dude. When I was selling drugs, as a kid, dude, if you got caught with weed, you're doing hard time. Hard motherfucking time. Now
they're doing hard time in Texas.
Dude, now there's fucking old men getting rich off of this because they can invest in it, right?
Oh man, there's 5 dispensaries in a mile radius of my apartment.
Say where you are. Are you by the In-N-Out, kind of?
I'm literally, I walked through the In-N-Out.
Okay.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Great. Now a bunch of people are gonna go over to your house.
Yeah, right now they're
just gonna wait at In-N-Out.
They're gonna wait in and out. They're gonna see me running by with my shirt off. That's what I do. And then they're gonna stab me, and they're gonna skin me and wear my skin.
Yeah, and so I think mushrooms are gonna be the next thing, to just kind of like weed. People would say they'll never be legal.
Yeah.
Dosed correctly.
Yeah, dose.
Yeah.
Like monitored.
Yeah.
Not just me and my
Not
ignorance.
handfulling it if you-
Yeah, I have no idea. I would love to do psychedelics. I've actually been having aspirations to do it for a little while.
Dude,
just in the correct environment.
It's all about
Dude,
Yeah.
it's all about environment, and
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have the ability, you should do it in a professional setting.
Yes,
and I don't get
absolutely.
paid by this company, but Field Trip Health, the
Mm-hmm.
company I went through with Mike O'Dowd, I think, dude, you should, if you're really interested, you should do it, man. It's a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
It is a game changer, and depending on the individual, because I don't want to say it's an end all be all, because I know
Yeah, no.
people who've done psychedelics, and it bums me out. I'm like, dude, you're still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I thought mushrooms or DMT or whatever would fix everything. I think it's the core individual.
Dude.
I think if your core wants to expand, you want to learn, you want to find out about yourself, and maybe improve some stuff, it'll happen. But
Yeah, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know, it's the
100%.
type of those things. You can show me something about myself, and it's up to me to choose if I'm going to do anything about it.
yeah. And dude, I don't know everything about you, but you know, maybe that might help you in some aspects. You know?
I think it will, man. I mean, I've been doing a pretty good amount of research about it, and I mean, just as far as I've come a long way,
Yeah.
just through personal reflection and speaking. I'm a big component of counseling. I
Yeah.
like it. I mean, I've been going to counseling for, I think a little over almost 2 years now through the VA. Or at least at my local VA
Yeah.
center, and it's helped me so much. Even if it's just a once a month type of thing, I think that's a big negative, perceived thing by the veteran community is talking.
Yeah.
Because we're all tough guys. We don't have issues. We're all super, we don't need to talk about our feelings because feelings make you weak. But everybody has feelings, and
Dude,
yeah,
have you heard Mike talk about? Were you there when he because he is not an advisor, is it liaison, the actual word?
Mm-hmm.
He's part of the company because he helped create the veteran program, right? Me and Pierce were the first Rangers, or just not just Rangers, but veterans who went through it. Well, he was the first one, I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Have you heard him talk about how he used to be?
I've heard you
Yeah.
briefly speak about how he used to be, and then he spoke very briefly about it when we were at the ranch.
Yeah. So then he did it, and it helped him, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, dude, it might help you.
Yeah, dude, possibly. I'm very open to
Yeah.
trying it.
That's the first
dude.
right there. Because, dude,
Oh, yeah.
trying to convince some veterans to just even go see a counseling or therapist,
Oh yeah.
dude, it'll never fucking happen. But
Oh,
just
yeah.
the fact that you're doing that, and then you've talked about that you're interested in psychedelics, dude. Yeah, man, I think you should do it, dude. If you want,
Oh yeah,
shrooms,
It's all an experience, to
dude,
me.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Uh-huh.
Chocolate. If you want chocolate shrooms, so a chocolate bar,
Uh-huh.
and each square is a gram.
Uh-huh.
I know a guy.
Okay.
It's a nice ride.
I'll hit your line, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it while I'm at a farmer's market, but I'm definitely gonna have to shroom proof the apartment and keep my cats in another room.
Dude, because
Be good on that camping trip.
Yeah, man, that's what I want to do. I definitely want to be in a nature setting, and like I want to be with my girlfriend when I do it, just because I think it'll be a very good bonding thing. And then so
dude, because I dropped. I don't want to say I dropped the ball, but I mean, I used to sell weed, right? But this is when it was you're a bad man.
You're a bad
if you
man.
did it. Now you're a businessman.
yeah.
So when it all started, I'm not in the weed business, but I'm a big believer in psychedelics, and that I think we will look back at the time now and be like, damn, dude, like we will look at this time and be like, I can't believe we used to medicate people, not just veterans, but people, society, with pills.
Yeah, pills, dude. Big
And-
pharma.
Yeah.
Boo.
When you have psychedelics that could help, right?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of research going on with this or that of, for PTSD and
Yeah.
other stuff. And I think psychedelics is the next thing. So I'm not going to drop the ball like with weed. And
Invest.
dude, I know
Yes.
a guy.
I know a guy.
because you can have the facility,
Yeah.
you can have the product or whatever, but you need to sell it. You need a brand. You need a name that you can trust. You need this or that. Or I think those things can sell itself.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, dude, I know a guy.
Okay, I'll hit you up on it.
All right, guys. Again, thank you for listening. And if you like what you hear, you can support. People keep asking, do you have a Patreon or do you have anywhere so I can donate or whatever?
Buy me a coffee.
Dude, if you buy something, some people are like, I don't want to buy a shirt from OG Pumpkin. I just want to donate. Dude, just buy a sticker, and there's a tipping option at the end when you check out, and then just put your donation in there if you really just don't want a hoodie or whatever. But if you like what you are listening, support Thrash and Raid, the Hero Games, or OG Pumpkin.
Like, subscribe, share.
Yep.
All of it.
That I need to get better at that. Yep. So again, thank you, Ryan, for again being the producer, being my Jamie, and thank you, Cameron, for coming.
Thanks for having me, man.